I just
tell you what.
No,
It's good.
You've
I
made
tried
a
to do it
beautiful
twice and it
custom
didn't work.
animation for these
It didn't
guys.
work twice. People would have hated.
Hi, everybody. We're a mess today.
hello.
Phil,
Hello,
your camera,
friends.
Sure. So I ambushed you guys because we're actually not doing a creative block. We're just going to talk about Earthbound Grand Prix.
Wait, what? What's happening?
Okay, I'm down. Tell us about it.
I'm
Grand
fine
Prix.
with that. Whatever. What?
Congrats on the launch, Narwhal.
Yeah, thanks. It's been going good. It's fun to do it on Fund My Comic, everyone. So everyone in the chat, 34. Oh my God, we had 50 people watching. It went down to 34. We lost 20 people because I did.
Narwhal!
What?
Come on,
Because
guys.
of no reason though, because you use the normal countdown.
We'll get him back. We'll get him back.
Did we
Maybe
get that
because
over?
I
Where's
told
the
him.
custom animation? I came here for the animation. He didn't even play it.
Yeah, my internet's not good enough to play it. So just picture it in your head, and then remember that it's great. Everyone, watch this on your own time, and then back the book. Just be aware. There's a little moment of awareness. Let's all take a moment of awareness for this.
You know these videos that you struggle to play because of your internet? If you just uploaded them to StreamYards, you could just click on them and play the whole thing, and it would be completely fine.
Oh yeah, maybe we can do that later because I have the video file on my computer. I could just do that. I think. Reenie's judging me.
Only a little bit.
Okay, I think some of the people came back. Maybe it's just like a fluctuation in the algorithm messing with us.
We're coming in.
45.
I see it. Hit
Come
that like button,
back.
everybody.
So everyone's in the middle of their own little shit show. Apparently, Phil's moving and that has a terrible background that recalls early Narwhal.
I'm
Jake
standing
has gout.
too.
It has gout again and other things blowing up in his life.
Crooked sunglasses too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, guys, look, I think I left my glasses in bed with me when I fell asleep, and I couldn't find them after. But I only got one on.
You just rolled over on him. That's what happened.
I tried to make mine Cricket in Solidarity, Jake, but it gives me a really bad headache. So
it gives me really bad headaches too. So
just duct tape it to your face. That'll really
If I overcorrect and do it this, then it'll slowly fall into normal play or whatever. Who cares? I don't care. Who needs eyes?
Nobody needs eyes because artists don't need eyes. Yeah, we're all a bit of a disaster. Everybody's heard about my shit show, but
I'm not a disaster.
what is yours, Reenie? Just give us the quick because I don't know really.
Oh, I've got more house problems. Like this house that is constantly breaking. Yeah. I had a kitchen leak that wasn't a big deal, but then in the process of inspecting that, we discovered like tons of really old water damage that inexplicably I wasn't told about when I bought the house. So I'm in the process of fixing
Yeah,
that.
Irene's house was built on an Indian burial ground.
I'm starting to think so. You know what? Did I tell you? Like, so for the previous owners were such a mess. They were very creative with their home renovations. Let's just put it that way. But they also just like there was so much weird shit left around the house premises. So I did a bunch of landscaping work, and while I was digging up like a giant part of the yard to level it with a shovel on my own damn self, cause that's how I do things the stupid way. I dug up like an old blouse, like it was just like entwined in these tree roots, and a shoe. It was like a woman's blouse, but a man's shoe. I'm not kidding. And like a bunch of kids' toys. I took a picture. There was like this tiny Barbie that was like all fucked up, but only the top half of the body, and it was really creepy.
Yeah, it sounds like a serial killer.
So maybe there's actually something to that, and it was like some old burial grounds. And my house is actually haunted.
Yeah, those random garden dress wraiths really mess with your plumbing.
Oh no, it's actually
plumbing.
It's actually just a shit inspection company.
Rini, when your camera's off, are you like naked and getting dressed? And then as soon as you get dressed, you turn the camera back on?
If that helps everybody's night be better. Actually, no.
That's
I
why
am
my
usually-
camera was off. I was changing into shorts.
That
Oh,
genuinely is what it's like when my camera's off.
Yeah.
No,
See,
actually, I'm too. Well,
I'm- I'm naked right now, but hold on, I'll put my clothes
But-
back on.
when your camera is off, everybody will just imagine that you're naked. Actually, I'm really paranoid about like people spying on me, even though I have this little lens cover. Like, I have lens covers on everything, even my tablet, because I'm like, someone's gonna hack my tablet and spy on me. But so yeah,
Do you have a lens cap on your shower head?
yeah, because someone's going to
This is the camera.
put a camera in my shower. Hey, you guys want to see something cool?
Yes.
Nah. How did you
Shush,
get stand
Phil.
loose fix?
I don't think we have a
Shush,
choice.
Phil. You don't have a choice, indeed. Phil, be a good friend and watch my cool thing. Here. Look, the new standees came in.
Yes.
Nice.
Is it
They're-
the same on
Bigger.
both sides now then?
They're finally good now. Oh my gosh, that looks so
Yo,
good.
I love that you have to break them out of that thing. That's so cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to. I just got these in because I was out of the house all day. So I just opened this. So let me. I just want to. I'm gonna open this and put it together on camera, so you guys get a little sneak peek. So I think I'm going to. This is the last item on the campaign that needed to be made. So this looks good. I'm gonna give the factory a go ahead and to finish mass producing these. And there we go. Look. We
Looks
had
so good. I love it.
it looks so great. The first version, I have it over there, but I don't need to show you guys. I don't need to show you guys again. We had some printing problems, like the lines had a weird shadow, but they fixed it. So I'm very happy because I was really worried for like 2 weeks if they could recalibrate their machines. But so all of these little standees will come packaged like this, except
Love it.
they'll come with a little white backing board with instructions in case people can't figure out how to like put it together. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward, but you never know. Well, no, actually, because when I first got it, I actually didn't know how to do it. I'm stupid. So it comes like a little board and it's all cut out. So, oh wait, there's a film. It's all stuck together. Okay, there you go. There's the. There we go. This is the most ungraceful thing.
Don't accidentally suffocate.
Yeah, don't accidentally suffocate. So it's all
Just
cut up
suffocate on
like this.
purpose.
And this is like a little free keychain.
That's awesome. I love
Are
that.
both sides
bonus.
behind plastic this time, or is
Both sides. And the
There you go.
keychain is both sides as well. So you get a little free Hellion keychain and and you can just throw this out. But the important part are these two pieces. And this is the base. And this is the Ragna and the Ragna. And both the Ragna and the Demon are double-sided this time. So here's front and
Nice.
back of the Demon.
Nice.
And the colors are actually a lot better. We just had some alignment issues with the lines, but they fixed that. So it's easy. After you unpack it, just take the foot and kind of stick it.
Nice.
Oh, a satisfying click.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
awesome.
Nice.
I still wanna do that.
satisfying.
Oh,
That
in
turned
focus.
That turned out awesome.
That was cool that it wasn't in focus for a long time, and then it suddenly was. That was
Yeah.
like
Now you can see it.
cathartic.
Behold. So I'm happy. Now these are gonna get produced, and you guys will be getting yours soon. Thank you. That's all.
hell yeah?
Nice. Yes. We got right now. There's 73 people watching. We'll get started in just a second. It's about today. The show's about what makes things memorable, and then always the inverse is interesting too. What makes things forgettable, and then a kind of separate thing. But I just want two things, so we'll have a lot to talk about. But ticking clocks and ticking clocks. There's you'd be surprised. There's a lot to talk about with those too.
That's a great topic. I'm excited.
Cool.
and
I want to hear what you
I've
guys.
been trying to think of weird ones.
Yeah, I mean, I got some good examples for ticking clock stuff.
Yeah,
So,
even just like if we just go down examples like for an hour, that would be good for me.
Yeah,
Like,
let me
I'd
actually
enjoy
pull my
that.
notes.
But yeah, 75 people watching. If this is your first time seeing a Grand Prix, I'm curious if it is. Let me know in the chat, and if you back it tonight, let us know too. and I'll definitely shout you out and say thanks and stuff. This is the sequel to Earthbound, and it's going to be sweet. Might do like a little sneak preview towards the end of the night too. So I've been lettering some pages, so we can show some lettered pages or something.
Should we read it terribly? Like,
Some person says what makes things memorable: boobs and ultra gore and stream. The end.
Boobs and
every
gore.
boob you've ever seen some person, or was some of those boobs less than memorable? I've seen some less than memorable boobs in my time.
Because some of that it'll mesh together though, so then it would be forgettable. Be like, all I know is I've seen 1,000 boobs, but I can't tell you one from the other.
Yeah, there's like multiple ways to be memorable though. If it's just so shocking and so gory and so boobalicious, but I think nowadays there's so much media that's so over the top and gory or booby. It's like I think the best way to stand out is what really matters is not just the fact that there's boobs or gore, it's the style. It's like having boobs in a cool style that's memorable, and the gore is done in a stylistic way. And either that or you actually have a good story with really interesting characters. I mean, that helps too, but that's a lot of hard work.
I'm trying to think of how you make boobs memorable, and that just like there's like there's like one anime clip where someone shoots like a bullet, and then the girl like goes backwards, and like her boobs go through the air, but like the bullet goes through the two nipples as they do this.
Yeah, like Matrix.
Yeah.
They flip, and a bullet goes through, and I'm like, okay, I've remembered that.
Yeah, that's memorable because you just thought of it, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know. I almost forgot about that until you brought it up.
Have you seen that clip? I didn't think it.
Yeah,
I have seen it.
It's great. But we're talking about memorable moment, or what makes things memorable, right?
Yeah.
I think the build up to something makes the thing it builds up to memorable, and it's kind of like a something that works in tandem, where like you could have a big moment, but if you don't build up to it, it's not as big as you need it to be. So those two techniques or mechanics of storytelling work hand in hand to make a memorable moment. So the lead up and then the actual specific event that you want to pop out in someone's head, if that makes sense, like a big thing for sure.
I heard Spielberg say about the T-Rex, because that maybe is my most memorable thing, if I'm trying to think, is the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. Like I remember as a kid even, like being blown away. But Spielberg said he starts with the water rattling on the front of the car. And he said, he called it suspense, but it's like a little bit, it is suspense, but he said it's like building it up. And he's like, if you're going to do that, the audience has to be like either really terrified to see or really excited to see what you're about to show them. So you're kind of teasing them a little bit. You're like postponing it. So like, build up, postpone, teasing. And then if it's a build up, and then usually with the build up means you get like the catharsis, the climax, the stronger, the better. And when people were mentioning boobs, I was like, controversy, like ultra violence or whatever, that is another thing that makes things memorable. But sometimes that's not the best, because then you can be memorable in a way that you're like dated. Like a lot of controversial stuff is like milk toast now.
Right.
And all they were trying to do at the time was be edgy, and it just
the shocking thing that you're kind of touching on, Narwhal. It's something that happens in comedy and horror. Like if you listen to Stephen King talk about writing horror, he talks about how comedians and horror writers are very similar, because they're showing you things that you're not supposed to see and are shocking, or they're telling you things, right? With comedy as well. So those, moments, you have to know it's exactly like a setup and a punchline in comedy, of those two things go hand in hand to make those memorable jokes, those memorable horror scenes or action scenes. Like in The Matrix, one of the most memorable things is when he dodges the bullets, when he's on the, but Why is that memorable? It's awesome visually, but it's not the first time that concept was brought up. They set you up when Neo sees the woman in the red dress, and he asks Morpheus, you're saying I could dodge bullets?"
Yeah.
And Morpheus says, "I'm saying," well, what's he say? You may
In
not.
the end, you won't have to.
Yeah, you won't even have to. So, and that sets almost like a time clock thing where now you have like some anticipation. Oh, is this going to happen? Are we going to see it? Is he going to be able to not even need to stop bullets? And then it happens. And then also what drives home the memory of it, he doesn't just dodge bullets. He gets shot in the leg. He fails at dodging a bullet.
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It takes him down. So there's a lot of puzzle pieces.
Yeah, there's like good character investment. You really like Neo. It's funny you like Neo too, because you might think like he's a little bit of an audience surrogate vessel, like an
For sure.
but he's like super likable. And the part of that's Keanu, and part of that is just being an audience surrogate is like a likable task. I think we kind of appreciate if someone's going to be like that first. And the extreme of it is like Mario and Link. Link is the extreme in Zelda. And yeah, sure enough, people do like love Link, and he like basically, he doesn't have any lines of dialogue at all. But to start, what started the whole concept too, this is like the basic discussion tonight. And one thing it can kind of focus around is there's like a saying, and people say like, it's like in writing circles or whatever, but they say, if you try to remember something, you can never remember the plot, but you could always remember the characters. So that's like obviously a good, encouraging thing about, obviously characters are super important, probably more important than the plot. But it's funny when you mentioned, like, for me, I was like, the most memorable things, the dinosaur, the T-Rex, and then you're like Neo dodging. I'm like, it's the characters that build up the stakes to make it memorable, but it's like a step above that almost to some of these like huge moments that are like really cool kind of.
Yeah.
And then one last thing too, we could get into like little examples and stuff, but another interesting way to look at it is we have some proof of what's memorable because like just what are the oldest stories, what survived through history when it was just oral. And if that's like, whatever, like the old English tales, a lot of fairy tales. And then eventually like the printing press is invented, stuff gets written down. And then books remembering is a little bit different after the invention of the printing press. And I don't know if it changed, but it's like the same things will keep things alive. But it's pretty impressive if you think of like something that survives through oral tradition. Like what did they have going for them? And they had one of the things they had is they had a cultural relevance that wasn't dated. So if it's like a universal lesson or a universal truth that you could always tell children, that a lot of those stories get passed on permanently forever, basically.
I think it's relatability. Sorry.
No, you can go, Irene.
I was going to say, I think it's relatability because you have the fairy tales, but fairy tales are relatable because most fairy tales in the old sense, not watered down modern ones, are cautionary tales. And they exemplify not just what people want to warn their children about, but people's deep-seated fears, the fears of the wild, fears of the wolves, fears of bad people, all this kind of stuff. But other than that, I'm thinking with the oldest tale, I don't think it's exactly Gilgamesh. I think there are older stories that have survived in. I saw this YouTube video about it. Oh, I wish I could think of it right now. But there are several really ancient stories that go back to. We can't even trace it back how far it is. But anyways, Gilgamesh is one of the oldest, and of course the stories in the Bible are some of the oldest, and then you have ancient tales from the East as well. And what I've noticed is I wonder why stories like Gilgamesh have survived this long, and I think it's because it's relatable. He's afraid of death because he loses his friend, and that loss of friendship is relatable. And because his friend died, he starts fearing death, so he goes on a journey to try and conquer death, and everybody can relate to that. And besides from like all the cool stuff that he does, I think that's what really is endearing and part of it, there's a lot of moral lessons that are pretty universal, and that's definitely true for biblical stories as well, I think, and definitely a lot of Eastern tales. So I think those things all combine the universality and relatability makes stories.
Yeah. And the things that are forgettable are things that don't do that too. I want to think about that too. But were you going to say something, Jake?
Yeah, like it's funny that you bring up oral tradition stuff, because the first time Noel brought up this concept of like what makes something memorable, at the time I was thinking, is it just the social interaction you have around it? Like you see a cool moment or read about a cool moment, and then the water cooler conversation you have with people almost enshrines it with like a meaning or a memory. But like it's not completely true, because there's stuff I've watched on my own which has been super mega memorable. But like, and also I like what Phil was saying about the build up to it. Like that seems like it would be a big part, but then this isn't to replace that. It's like all of the musical numbers are so memorable as well, and they come out of the blue a little bit. They have build up to them in the scene, but they don't have a build up in the way that like the T-Rex does in Jurassic Park, when you haven't even seen a dinosaur for ages. You've just been like waiting for them to finally run out of the cars get turned off, right?
Right. I think a lot of that too is the shock or the awe, right? The shock and awe. Like we talk about comedy, talk about horror. Even you talk about a film like, have you guys seen Swordfish?
Yeah.
Jake, what's the most memorable scene in Swordfish?
The blow.
Does someone get blown away
right?
randomly? I'm trying to remember.
No, it's Jake. It's one of two scenes. It's either, like you said, the blowjob hacking scene.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they put this in a film? Like, what is going on? Or it's the Halle Berry tit scene. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And those two scenes, for me and for Jake, I think define those movies. But is it what you'd call in like wrestling a cheap heat? Are boobs and sex a cheap way to get people to remember things? That's a question we could explore.
Oh, because both of those are very primal.
Right, sure.
I think the context that the boobs and the shock and the sex exist in matters is sort of like what you remember. It are those shocking moments or the cool moments or the sexy moments, but those don't matter unless the story makes sense and the plot actually,
like the Halle Berry boob scene didn't have to be in the movie. She got buttloads of money, and that made the news that she was topless in that scene. But did it really need to be in there?
Yeah, it's like what Reni's saying with the context is like, you can't just do that, because then it's like 1,000 other things that actually do get forgotten. So you got to do other stuff, and then you do that. And I think that might have a little X factor going for it too, because she might have been like, whatever, like people's sexiest female actress.
For sure.
And the same year she does the topless scene or whatever. So,
but the blowjob hacking scene, there was so much tension built up to that like when it goes all the way up to the next level and the blowjob's added on, it just like adds extra.
Yeah, that scene is really good with pacing and a build up and a payoff to that.
Yeah, a climax. Yeah,
the climax.
And so some of what we're talking about too, I like what Jake said about discussion making it memorable. That kind of goes broadly in with a lot of things, like people talking about Halle Berry topless or whatever, but anything you can do to get people talking if it's controversy and stuff. But if a story, I was thinking about if things are forgettable, if they're dated, that usually pretty much means they're forgettable a lot of times. Like if they cease to be relevant at all, like why would anyone even care? I'm trying to think if there's examples like that. Like sometimes it's stuff that's happening right now. Like I feel like, because it's so fresh, I can still remember it. But I'm like the Disney Little Mermaid remake, I feel like that it is going to go down the memory hole, And Disney even has the thing called the vault, where they put things that have gone down the memory hole.
The film prison into the media prison.
Yeah. So sad.
You're going in there and you're not coming out till I say so.
Yeah. So like it's like if you're dated, this is a kind of a question is you don't want to be dated. Like I feel like Barbie's going to be dated too because it's so feminist. It's like obviously it was made in 2023.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, or what'd you say, Irene?
Oh, I said that's what I heard. It's like super man-hatey and shit.
I know. I didn't expect that.
It could have been good. It really could have been. They had an opportunity to make a good film. But...
Just make a fucking Barbie movie. What is so hard about this? I like how all these people are like, updating for modern audiences. No, you're just dating it for this weird woke era. In 50 years, it'll be cringe.
They did something similar to like the concept of this in like the early 2000s with Tyra Banks. She was like a doll. I just didn't even remember this. It was like an ABC. It might have been a TV made-for-TV movie, like ABC Family or something.
There was like a bunch of them. They were all assassins that were like dolls.
No. She was just like Barbie, but it was Tyra Banks. And then this little girl wished her alive, and she came to life, and she didn't know about humanity and how things go, and turned her world on its head. It's one of those feel-good movies. I watched a lot of Tyra Banks things when I was a kid.
Yeah. Praetor 7 says, what is the Matrix?
Yes, what is the Matrix?
I got a video on my channel talking about that. I think he might be shouting it out.
Probably referencing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great video.
So you're saying Tyra Banks, she's memorable? I missed some of what you're saying.
No, this was just a total talking about Barbie. Yeah, it was called Life Size. There we go. Ruby Jade in the chat. Life Size. Everybody watch it. No, but I was, when you guys were talking about like ancient stories like Gilgamesh and stuff like that, like even when you think of memorable things about these myths, like Samson. I mean, this is a biblical story. Samson and Delilah. Like the thing I remember from that basically would be a double-page spread in a comic of Samson tearing down the temple on top of himself. Like these big moments that are like, oh damn, this just happened. Like those are the things that I remember from stories, and applying that to how I set up like our campaigns, I try to get those moments that are like big splashes or big oh damn moments and put them on the campaign before I crowdfund stuff. So those are the things that are hopefully will jump out in people's memories when they think back to those stories.
Yeah, that's cool. I got one angle on this real quick too. Sorry, Alex VRB for $2. Thanks, man. Yeah, cool. Narwhal 2023.
Well, that's how he reacts to everything. But it's sincere. It's sincere.
Yeah. Oh, so movies where you can remember the character's name even if you've just seen it once. Can you guys think of stuff like that? Like obviously Neo. We start
Oppenheimer.
Yeah. We say Neo instead of Keanu. Or like I'm trying to think. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had pretty memorable names, but I can't remember them right now, so that doesn't quite work. But that's like an achievement. If you can do that, it means you made a really good character. And one of the things they do, it's like a cheat a little bit, but it's like repetition. Obviously, repetition is more memorable. So
yeah, for sure.
If a story repeats too much, people get bored. But if you repeat enough for it to stick in their brain, little themes and motifs, and if
Spike in Madness says Kaiser Soze, which is perfect example of that.
Yeah, like I wonder how many times it gets said over the course of the movie. It's probably like 20 times, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, FKA 322, Marty McFly. Yeah, if you have a character that's getting shouted at like Flick from A Bug's Life, everyone's hollering at Flick, you're probably going to remember their name if they're getting bitched out for the first like 10 minutes.
Marty McFly, that alliteration, right? I mean, Stan Lee used to do that with all of his Marvel characters, Peter Parker.
Memorable, Marilyn Monroe. Right? That's not her real name either, but it's
the alliteration really helps.
Walter White. Yeah. It's like Walter White. Alliteration helps because Walter White's like a normal ass name, but so
Matt Murdock.
I think remembering a character's a character's name also ties into having pizzazz. Like it's like I remember in Mad Max, I don't remember anybody's name except obviously Max and Imperator Furiosa, and just because there's like this epic way that it's like the bad guy, the fat ass gross bad guy says Imperator Furiosa, and then moments like that make a name really memorable, and those are like the pizzazz. It's hard to describe, or I just don't quite know how to describe it yet, but those moments that are just really cool and have style, you need to find that magic, and that will make those moments memorable.
For sure, there is definitely a niche to creating cool sounding names, memorable stuff. Like,
yeah,
some people have a knack for it.
Oh, and
I think it's very important too.
Or just scenes like the scene in Gladiator where he says he's like, I'll have my revenge. I am Maximus Decimus Meridius something. I don't think I said that right, but and I'll have my revenge, and that's memorable. And if I had a better memory, I actually remember his whole name, but I do remember it's Maximus.
Yeah, I think they do that on purpose. That has the pizzazz that you're talking to.
Yes.
I think they do that on purpose, and it's like at first glance you might be like, well, that's if you're a writer, you're like, that's cheesy. That's a cheap trick. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have one guy going around repeating his little poem to people, like, because he's on a revenge quest. But no, it's badass because people are going to remember it. And then there is stuff that you can access if people remember it. It is fun when it gets meta, but it's like the existence of the story in the real world, people talking about it, like what Jake is saying. And you're kind of arming people to be able to even talk about it better if they can remember the characters' names. And if you give them the huge moments, the oh shit moments like Phil's talking about, they'll want to talk about that. They'll want to talk about those. And then forgettable stories, I'm pretty sure they just never do that. But the one thing I keep thinking about with forgettable is a lot of times a forgettable movie might literally have the goal to be like memorable. And the fact it wants to be so memorable, that like is part of its undoing. Or a movie that like wants to change the world or wants to like, and it makes it super dated, like Barbie or whatever. Barbie's like, I'm going to change the world, make the world a better place with my art. And we're like, nobody's going to remember you in 20 years, but
right.
Maybe Barbie they will remember, but I don't know. Maybe not. It's like stupid kind of trying to think it's hard to remember what is a forgettable. Like,
well, like the most forgettable stuff. I mean, you said it in the interactivity book. Like, if a character says they're gonna go do something, and then they go do it, and it all works out fine, it's the most boring thing in the world. It's like if a prediction was set up in the viewer's head, and then it ended up being exactly as they expected it to, over and over again. They'd almost get like annoyed by like, what the fuck. You set things up and then they're never being paid off in an interesting way.
If we're talking like movie theater experiences, you already have a situation that's pretty memorable is going to a movie theater. A lot of people will remember it. But if it's like seeing a bad movie that's so bad that people will like disassociate, they'll like forget on purpose. If it's like, really
or bad. If the opposite will happen as well, they will remember it for being so bad. So like I have an example from the newest Star Wars film.
I was about to bring those up.
So Rey, Chewbacca gets captured and taken up into this big like frig, aircraft that's going to leave the planet, and she's all emotional and angry, so she like force pulls it down or something. She's trying to force pull it down to save it, but then shoots lightning at it or whatever, and the thing blows up in the air, and she's even more angry because she supposedly led to Chewbacca dying on this big plane. And then the scene immediately after, we see that Chewbacca was on a different jet, and there was no consequence to the payoff of that buildup, and she learned nothing from it. Nothing comes from it, and it sticks out like a sore thumb because it was in there.
How do these
for
things
no reason?
I remember seeing that was like structured and paced terribly too. It's like, what's been happening? Like, you're right. That's so bad. It's not even so bad. It's good. Like, that could be a memorable thing. But that's so bad.
People are saying, thanks for reminding us, Phil.
Yeah, see, we wanted to forget. Like, we would have disassociated.
There you go.
Jake, were you going to say something?
No, just I never saw anything past the first one of those Disney films. I can't believe how does that get written?
I was dragged.
Yeah.
It was memorable.
But
FKA
it's memorably bad though, right? Like, and also it got enshrined in a lot of social conversation as well.
Yeah, it's checking that box. And so I'm curious. So yeah, we'll look at that for a second. So FKA 322. If I'm thinking of a better version of the movie I'm watching, the filmmakers have failed. Yeah, I can agree. You don't want to. The best movies make you turn off your brain almost, but you're still thinking, but you're just kind of experiencing it or whatever. But yeah, so for Star Wars, the Clone Wars are like borderline in danger of going down the memory hole. Like, I don't know, but they're better than the new ones, but they're like kind of forgettable. The old Star Wars is like the most memorable thing. It will never be forgotten. That he like actually made like a fairy tale that it's like on the level of Robin Hood or whatever, and it'll live forever. It would if everything got destroyed. This is a funny like thought experiment. Say all the film DVDs and hard drives and even comics or whatever, it all burns. All the DVDs get burned, all the film gets burned, it's all gone. So we have to go back to oral tradition. And then immediately, what would we keep? You know, what the first thing you'd tell your kids, you'd be like, well, I got to tell you about Luke Skywalker, you know, because that story is like epic. And there's a handful that feel that way. Like, honestly, some of them are funny. Like you might try and tell your kids about The Godfather, about Michael Corleone. Speaking of being memorable, like the names in that movie.
You'd have to act it out. You'd have to act these little things out because you'd seen them in films. You'd have to set up little plays. You wouldn't even be doing the oral stuff. You'd be doing amateur dramatics of like finding a way to make a lightsaber out of like a stick, but it still glowed or something.
Decapitating a horse's head and putting it in your son's bed.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what it felt like, kid. But what about the Clone Wars? Do you think is making it unmemorable for you, even though like that's a Hale's piece of media that a lot of people love? But like, what about it?
Like the film?
Yeah, good question. Because they're not
the series.
They are kind of bad, but
the series?
They're kind of fun.
Do you mean Do you mean the animated series novel?
The animated series. I don't know.
No, he's talking about the Star Wars Clone Wars, the film.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I'm talking about the prequel trilogy. But the thing is, it doesn't have, for me at this point, it doesn't have rewatchability. So that's another interesting like aspect of it. Anything that you want to rewatch, obviously, is going to get anything you see twice or 3-4 times. It becomes more and more memorable. Some movies encourage that. Some movies discourage that. Some stuff like that can be like so intense and so hardcore, you would never watch it twice. In some ways, that's like less memorable. Like Schindler's
List. What's the one where they go into the jungle and they're gonna find that like general guy who's like gone crazy, and they're going. It's like in Vietnam, and they're going down the river for the whole film.
Yeah, Apocalypse Now.
Okay, yeah. I think I would wait. Unless I saw that at the cinema, it was great. But I think I would wait a bit before I watched it again for the reason.
It's long too. It's like 3 hours, but that's like a classic. That's pretty memorable. It's Colonel Kurtz. I can remember his name. That's Marlon Brando. And that, speaking of buildup, that one has a huge buildup, and the payoff is pretty good because he's going to kill a guy who went rogue. Which that's its own trope, that storytelling like cool trope kind of thing that other people do. But it's awesome. So he goes up there, he finally meets him, and you get to meet like Marlon Brando, the best actor ever. And he's like, "You're an errand boy sent to collect a bill." Jason Smoot says, "Hail Marl, the best storyteller ever time." He's not talking about me. He's talking about someone else. $20, that ain't cheap. Thanks, Jason.
Clearly, he was talking about you.
Hail Jason. Good to see you, brother.
Compliment. Can you guys think of this is interesting. Speaking of stories that are just memorable because it's just like so intense right up front, but you probably wouldn't rewatch it, versus stories that are memorable but encourage rewatching. Because I'm thinking, I can't think of any examples right now, but I know it exists. Probably I can think of books, but not movies, of stories that encourage rereading, and it's because it's already good when you read it the first time, but when you read it a second time, probably Song of Ice and Fire books are a good example. They actually really encourage rereading. as much as I hate George R. R. Martin, when he sets things up like the Red Wedding, when you read it again, it's a whole different experience because now you know what's coming, but you see other things because there are different layers to the character development and other, like, that's part of, obviously, great writers like Tolkien encourages rereading as well, because every time you read, you discover something, you see another layer of setup and another layer of things, kind of another layer of meaning to it. And that's the sort of payoff as well. It's a different kind of payoff. It's not even payoff within consuming the story once. It's a way delayed payoff.
Yeah. Part of that too is you can pack your story with stuff, because there is, like, people will miss stuff the first time, and maybe so maybe it's like it's like kind of bonuses or Easter eggs, but that's really fun to pick up on the second time. I found this YouTube video on Hereditary, which I haven't even seen Hereditary, but everyone says it's a classic horror movie. But the YouTube movie, it says Hereditary Explained, and it's a 4.5 hour movie video. I'm like, the movie is only 2 hours. Here's 4.5 hours explaining it. I'm like, I want to watch this, like, just to see what the hell he's saying. Yeah, he's going through a fine-tooth comb through, like, everything. And I'm like, man, there was a lot in Hereditary that they pack in there that, like, you don't even need to notice it to get the gist and the fun of the story. But if you want to watch it twice, there's a lot for you to pick up on it. And
I think that's, I would imagine, like, you have to go into creating this story with that mindset of, I'm going to put things in here that people may not notice, but they might notice when they come back to it. You see a lot of certain episodes of, like, modern sitcoms do stuff like that. Well, you'll have an episode that follows just one character and throughout one day, and then the second part of the episode follows the second character on the same day. And so that's kind of a interesting way they'll structure shows, something like Arrested Development, where you can go back and watch it and be like, oh yeah, this, they knew they were going to put this in a later episode and it's right here. That's really interesting. Cool. But yeah, that takes another level of thinking, I think.
Yeah. I wonder if there's, like, a technique to it, or is it just you need a lot of experience writing, and you definitely social intelligence, like understanding people. It's so hard to predict what the audience will understand, and that's like a built skill as a writer.
With that too, I feel like one thing is, like, it's kind of best to just throw everything at the audience and trust them, because the opposite of, like, the audience hates if you treat them like a baby or whatever.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that a lot.
Yeah, and then another aspect is, this is like the opposite of interactivity a little bit, and so I'm always curious about that angle. But it's the director; he's real famous, Japanese director who did, like, Ichi the Killer and stuff. Chad might know who I'm talking about. I can't think of his name right now. But he said, they asked him, like, they said, do you try to predict what the audience is thinking and then play off of that? Which is, like, a huge part of, like, what interactivity is, what I kind of was trying to do for a long time, still like try to do. But then he's like, no, I don't do that at all. I'm like, okay, maybe he did and mastered it so he can just do it subconsciously or whatever. But I was like, that's interesting that there's people out there that don't do it at all. That's kind of a fun way to approach the story too. It's just like, kind of powering through or whatever.
Like straight ahead writing, where you just
a little bit. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get this.
Narwhal.
Hi.
He's the host. Oh, he's almost back.
Right down the stream, quick.
I have something. I can't hear you guys. Hold on.
You're going for ages.
I have a funny book. So this is Mike Nelson's movie Mega Cheese. Mike Nelson is, like, one of the guys behind Mystery Science Theater, and he wrote this book of movie reviews, and they're so funny. So I read this book twice. One of the only books in my life I read twice, and like Donkey Kong, the original novelization of the Super Nintendo game. Just because usually I'll just read them once, but yeah. So whatever. A lot of these are memory hold, and that's what's funny that he's reviewing. But so that's Judge Dredd and Barbed Wire. I'm sure everyone remembers Judge Dredd, but do you guys remember Barbed Wire?
Yeah, 2 comic book movies.
Yeah, Lost in Space. Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah, of course.
The 2000s one?
Yeah, the 2000 remake. See that?
Matt LeBlanc?
That's memory hold pretty hard. Lost in Space. Like in chat, I bet none of you heard that.
I don't
Let me
remember a
read-
single thing about that film, even though I remember being excited about it as a kid.
I
know,
never
yeah, I
seen
can't
it.
remember
I
either.
never seen
Other-
it. The only thing I remember is in the trailer, Matt LeBlanc's character had this cool mask where he'd push the button on his neck and the helmet would like appear over his head, kind of like how Peter Quill's mask in Guardians of the Galaxy does now. I thought that was sick.
Yeah. Let me read just a little bit of this and see if it's funny. So I'm going to read this to you guys. And this is the Lost in Space review from the Mystery Science Theater guy. He goes, "It has become quite clear that DVD is the preeminent entertainment storage medium, just barely edging out the backs of cereal boxes in a consumer poll. And now with the ready availability of DVDs over the internet, it's become even easier to rent incomprehensible Japanimation or the films of John Cryer. There are no excuses anymore. Everyone must be entertained at all times. I shall always have fondness for the internet DVD rental service that allowed me to see Lost in Space without having to approach a counter and say to another human being, 'I'd like to rent Lost in Space.' In general, it's unwise to be seen renting any Matt LeBlanc movie, especially if you have aspirations to run for some sort of public office. And given recent performances, it's become somewhat scandalous to consider renting Gary Oldman movies as well. If you must rent one, be prepared, if pressed, to say, 'Oh, that's Gary Oldman? I was thinking of Daniel Day-Lewis.'" It's pretty funny. I forgot that Gary Oldman is in that movie.
I love Gary Oldman. So good.
Yeah, he's great, and he died recently. So
You know,
there was
there's
a Three Stooges live action remake. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, fucking Will Sasso was Curly in it.
Yeah.
When Three Stooges not live action.
Why did that one like? Who would? Yeah, it probably just gets forgotten because it's a shitty remake no one wanted, and it kind of sucked.
It was
not
like
of the time.
the reason I was interested in it because I'm pretty sure the guys that directed Dumb and Dumber did it, but it was trash. So
Yeah. What about Sphere? Do you guys remember Sphere?
no,
You guys don't remember Sphere?
no,
The fuck is Sphere?
I don't think I've ever
Sphere's
seen
not
it.
even that bad. It's like kind of good, but so that one got memory hold hard. Then that's a good one. We found one that no one
There
remembers.
you go. Fun,
Chad, you
I've never watched it.
fun fact about Barbed Wire, which was a Dark Horse comic in the 90s. Dan Lawless had a run on Barbed Wire, so he drew the interiors on Barbed Wire.
Nice.
You know, there was in that review that you read out, they were mentioning about how like the direction media is going, how everyone must be entertained all the time. Do you think part of it is just having time to think about what you watched, to lie awake thinking there's going to be dinosaurs at the end of your bed as a kid after watching Jurassic Park? Or do you think there's an aspect of like your stuff is becoming less memorable because your brain is hopping from one
Oh yeah.
mind-bending thing to the next, and it's all kind of like levels out?
System overload.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it, like your childish wonder, or is it just media is becoming more shit? I think media is becoming more shit. I think that's interesting. You brought up just one mind-bending thing to the other. That you guys remember that like the NPC fetish TikTok thing that's been going around for like past week, and what I remember somebody said, well, it's not surprising because it's just shocking, and the internet will do anything that's weird and shocking to make money, and that's true. But I think there's so much of that out there. It's like our lives are oversaturated with things that are shock value and boobs and gore and sex, and we're so numb to it that it's actually less memorable. The modern society and the internet is a perfect example why that stuff alone doesn't make a story stick.
We have instant communication, and you have basically all of the people instantly communicating in a kind of like social economy of how do I get noticed. It would only get more and more retarded over time. It's never going to get less retarded again.
I think
when will we peak retardation?
You nailed it. I think it's getting noticed. You know, like that whole TikTok thing is a direct correlation for people in the audience donating something special that's like donating money that, you know, shows up as a stupid little emoji that is then making the person they're watching do something. And I think it's like a demented way of viewers controlling this person they're watching because they're doing something and the person's reacting to it, and it's like a subconscious correlation to I'm making an impact and actually making this person do something.
Well, imagine I'm an insufferable e-thought on the internet for a moment, not real life. That's fake.
Reality.
And now imagine I have to compete with like Narwhal and Phil and Rini on making interesting stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, no, I could just like turn on my account and like press NPC mode, and all I have to do is go
no spicy.
Yeah, no spicy.
So
gang. Like that. All I have to do is that. All you have to do is like read the fucking commands on the screen and go, oh, spicy.
It really is just sad. There's so many levels to it. Because yes, I know the internet is weird and humans have always been weird, but it's just like the fact that so many people are willing to pay. It's not that thoughts exist. It's like so many people are so lonely, and that's the level of human interaction and female interaction that they're seeking, and they're willing to pay money for that because this is the only time I'll interact with the girl.
I think it's entertaining. I like if I was to ever pay for it, it wouldn't be like, oh my god, I have a connection. It's like, yeah, say spicy, you fucking retard. Like,
God.
Yeah, there was a clip of a guy doing it, and it was like so cringy that it made me laugh. It was so weird. Someone said, like, explain this in 3 words, and Cecil said, God's greatest mistake.
Peak brain rot.
Yeah. Travis Patrick, I just see a super chat come through. I'm going to click on it. Oh, it won't let me click on it because I have a different... I'll read it in a second, Travis. I clicked to share a video, so I'm going to select this and see if it works. Well, we got 113 people watching. Can you guys hear this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You guys want to read it with stupid voices?
Yeah, who can read it in the time frame that he gives?
Yeah. Let me know in the chat if this is your first time seeing this trailer too. I'm always curious how the information dissemination works.
I'm so glad you explored the video text going in concept that we talked about. It's so effective.
Adam Miller just back. Thanks, Adam. Stoked, man. Blogart.
This shot is cool. Must have taken a bit of work to match the 2D to the 3D.
Yeah. I did it low frame rate, so it wouldn't take forever. And then so it's like
I'm supposed to be reading this. Once you go through, the only way you can get out is with this ring. Hey, Blogart. Let me start there right there with you.
Someone clip that.
What are you gonna ask me? The answer is yes. I'm sorry, I'm learning it. I'll stop.
Want to go to the suicide mission with me?
Yeah, dude.
I guess.
I have been looking for some kind of reason to kill myself lately.
Yeah, that's like the plot is those rings are reincarnation rings. So if you go through the portal, you have to die to get back. And not everyone gets a ring, so you go through, you're just stuck there. So there's a whole like culture on the other side.
What if you sewed all of the people together, potentially sewing their mouths to the anus of the previous person in some kind of long centipede? Could the ring be fed to the first person and slowly make its way through the centipede? Then if you kill all of them, they all teleport back.
I don't understand why we're entertaining this thought experiment.
There's only how many rings is there? Is there a finite amount of rings?
I mean, why can't we ask more compelling questions like, what do you mean by a reincarnation ring? What does it do? Is it like a Star Trek beaming thingamajig? Is it like the same person? Never mind, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, to even answer Rini's, to answer Jake's question, it would just reincarnate whoever probably is digesting it at the time. So only one person.
So it would be like a chain of. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Oh wait, well it would be right. It would just be that one person. Everybody else would.
And then and that body would just die. And then I do have the souls being somewhat visible, but they're kind of like ephemeral or whatever. And they just shoot like they go shoo. And
it teleports your soul.
Yeah, and then it's like if you have the ring, that's what makes it more visible because there is invisible stuff that's happening normally to however our shit works. But if you have a ring, it's visible, it shoots out. But then it's the rings are all actually two parts. So there's it's called the male piece and the female receiver. So the male piece is the ring, and that lets you go to the female receiver it's been paired with, and that is just you end up as like basically a developing early stages fetus, and they can speed it up from that point to get you to age faster if they want or whatever. But
so without but then without the reincarnation ring, I was wondering, well, does reincarnation just not happen in your world? Or is it that with the reincarnation ring you'd keep your memories and just essentially grow a new life?
Yeah, it's almost like another life in a video game, and they say that in the comic, and then Blogart and WizKid get it, but no one else fully gets it because they don't know the Earth culture of video games. But it's like with a ring, and you reincarnate, and you actually reincarnate at your same age with all your memories and your same soul. So it's like
a respawn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then if you die without one, it's like in this universe there's no. It's like maybe you go to heaven or you're just dead forever. Nobody knows, but. So this is kind of a form where it can. So the whole plot's kind of around that, and it is around there's a lot. This is like a little bit of like an interactivity thing, but a lot of the plot is around like value and kind of measurements the audience makes by like just even like a question like how many lives is a ring worth, and then this is something they actually talk about this in the comic too, but it's like. It saves one person and gets them home or whatever. So you think one ring is worth one life, except each ring, they're so valuable that everyone kills for them. So each ring has like a death count hanging on it of like 100 people have died for this one ring just to save one person. So their value is actually much higher than 1-to-1. And it is like a what's it called? The availability versus demand kind of thing.
Right. Right. So how many rings are there? This is clearly a finite resource.
Yeah, they don't know exactly how many, but there's like 20 that you know of just even in the Grand Prix like that. And you find out for the Grand Prix, they're just fighting for one ring. Like the winner gets one ring and you get to go home.
Oh my God, it's Lord of the Rings in space. It's clearly not, I'm kidding. Do you explore how the rings came to be?
Yeah, I don't think this is giving too much away, but they're like just a very special like material that can get like found, and rings can get made out of that, and so that alone is like people kind of hunting for that. But then there's a way that they get created that I haven't fully explained, but that gets like kind of supernatural and weird, and so there's only like it's you know what it's almost like is like they get released into the universe almost like Bitcoin getting released, like if you release them in to the ecosystem, if you release too many, the value goes down, and so you want to keep them rare, kind of thing. Jason Smoot says, "Hail Narwhal, love you, brother." Thanks, Jason Smoot. Man, you giving me $220. Thank you.
What's up, Jason?
Jason, have you backed Cerberus? Did you get your copy? And have you backed Earthbound? I'm just curious.
Oh crap! It reminds me, I have to check my PO box. Did you put this cave slave drawing on the back cover?
I did, and I
saw a picture of that. It's awesome.
I know it looks great. It's funny. It's kind of cooler than the front cover. I think.
No, it was just a sketch. But thank you.
That was cool. It's funny because you're like you can use it if you want. I'm like I'm putting it on the back cover. That book is
fucking awesome. I didn't know he was gonna do that.
Yeah. That book's like kind of like a fun little weird hardcover. Got 2 pieces of art with no writing on, and nobody knows what's inside. You open it up, 24-page short comic.
It's probably in my PO box. I need to go check.
Yeah, I gotta mail you one of those still, Rini, but I mailed you a bunch of stuff. But then those books came in, so I haven't mailed you one of those yet, but I will. Yeah, maybe with some bread or something.
Or bread.
Ooh.
Just shoved into a loaf of
Damn it, I
bread.
want some.
Just giant box
Brown.
of comics and bread.
Yeah.
I approve.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit more about this while we're on the subject, and then maybe we'll pivot to ticking clocks. But with this too, it is kind of fun to explain the setup, because the setup is, you can't say it in like a sentence. There's ways you can pitch it in a sentence, but the actual setup takes kind of a long time to explain, and that's like what the comic is. Like a lot of the comic is just trying to explain like the culture, the world, the logic, and how the rings work, and how the Grand Prix works, and what's going on inside, what's going on outside. But one of the things that happens is that through the portal, right outside the portal is like a huge tailgate party with tons of spaceships that once they find out where it's held, because it's always a moving location, and the super like important spy information to know where it is early, to have that information first, because you can get the real estate close to the portal with your Dreamcatcher ship. Then you can catch these souls and intercept them as they're exiting the portal. And then if you manage to do that, you've caught like a asset that's worth like even more than a ring might be. You catch like these like godlike beings that you can then like control or whatever. So everyone's kind of trying to do that. So there's like hundreds of ships on the outside of the portal, and then they would all it would be the Wild West, and they would all just fight each other. But there's like the most powerful sponsor of all is the second one. It's called the Angel ship. And so it's there it'll just like, it kind of keeps order. It'll just kill anyone instantly who's like trying to mess with shit. But it doesn't even show up till a certain point. So people still can go before the Angel ship and try and get your real estate, but then it is like the Wild West. So that's like a kind of big part of what the first issue is like, this is happening. The Grand Prix is kind of starting. People are trying to get their real estate. They're waiting for the Angel ship to come. Some shit's happening on the inside of the tournament too. And that's kind of, and people are getting their rings and going in. Not everyone gets a ring. They sometimes send people in without a ring, and they're just like, good luck. Like,
wow.
See if you can figure it out.
All right. It's only like, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah. So it's kind of a fun story. It's like hard to find what to compare it to. It's kind of weird. It's got this like kind of reincarnation idea. And with all that, like the logic and kind of the magic systems of the portal combined with the rings, that there's like the simple logic and simple rules. There's like a ton of fun stuff that happens, and fun like action and fun like set pieces that are based on the logic of how those rules play out.
It sounds like a thought experiment on the value of a human soul set as a space opera or a space tournament.
It's like a game, right?
Yeah. It is like, the other thing that's kind of interesting is Earthbound 1 had no deaths in it, and that's like, I don't know if that's a spoiler, sorry, but nobody dies in Earthbound. I got to the end writing it and I was like, man, nobody died. That's kind of cool. I haven't seen that many stories where nobody died. And so I was like, should I say something? Are people going to notice? I'm like, they won't notice if I don't say something. So I had someone at the end being like, hey, nobody died. And
Fine's already out, whatever. Yeah.
And so this one, it's like because the rings are kind of playing with death too. So the death count, I'm not saying nobody's going to die, but if anyone dies, it's going to be a big deal kind of thing. So it's playing up the stakes and
yeah, sure.
All right.
Stuff. Yep. So everyone, thanks for taking a look. Everyone in the chat and people here, how's it going? Thank you.
Back this now.
Back it.
Yeah. Thanks for reading along to the trailer, Rini. Doing excellent.
You're almost at 10,000.
Oh, cool. We're getting some backers.
Well, no, I mean, as in like how the good progress you've made in this first week is great.
Yeah, I think since tonight it's got like 3 or 4 backers. Thanks everyone who's been backing while we're talking.
Before we
Yeah,
get to
yeah.
the ticking clock, Narwhal, I wanted to say one more thing about like memorable moments. Like to me, like memorable moments have like a layer to them. Like you could have a memorable moment that really doesn't affect the story, especially like if it's an action piece or something, especially when you're talking about comic books where it's like, oh, that splash page is an awesome piece of art and it's this shows this awesome action where we see a character doing something badass, right? And that's one level of it. But if you could get those memorable moments to align with like character moments and choices that really impact the plot, or like end revelations that build up to those. Like one that jumps out at me is like the ending of Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force Apocalypse solution, which the basic plot of that is Apocalypse, who's the first mutant that is this tyrannical mutant that wants to rule the world, is reincarnated as a child, as an infant, and the X-Men are tasked to go assassinate this kid, right? And it's basically the would you go back in time and kill Hitler as a child, plot, but in the X-Men, which is awesome. And the last few pages is this buildup as they have the kid now, and Psylocke is arguing with Wolverine. She's like, no, we can't kill this child because it's a child. But Wolverine's like, it's our job to kill this thing because he's going to grow up to be Apocalypse. And they're arguing, and it's this tension building up. And then there's a gunshot, and their other teammate, spoilers, but there's a gunshot, and their other teammate, Phantom X, has killed Apocalypse. And like, that's the ending. And it's like, it says so much about the characters that were involved. It's this awesome buildup. It's this crazy payoff moment. It's this oh shit thing. And all those character moments and art moments and plot line up, and it's a huge payoff, and it's super memorable.
Cool.
Like really cool. So like
That
if you can get all those things line up, that's what's really important. Really
it gets
cool.
like exponentially more powerful the more things kind of working together. But then the elements are like you're saying it's like characters and the stakes.
Yeah.
Is that all it is really? If you get the characters, the stakes, and then you get the super memorable badass shit.
Yeah, and the decision that ultimately kind of concludes the plot too. Like that's a big thing.
Yeah, like a kind of conclusion or kind of the crash down, the payoff, the build up, the payoff of the build up or whatever.
Yeah, we talked about tension before on the show. It's making the tension worth it, right?
Yeah, because that's a feeling too. Like you hate the feeling of being ripped off if you don't get your payoff if they build it up.
Yeah.
And conversely, it feels really good if you build it up. And
story blue balls.
Yeah, I know. I just think everything has like a sexual connotation.
I know.
You literally could write a storytelling book and have it all relate to sex.
It's our next project.
The foreplay.
All the ways storytelling can be allegorized to sex.
Yeah. There's something.
It's already called Connell the Barbarian.
I forget where I heard it. It was like a tweet, but someone said it was like a dating advice type thing, and they said like, if you're gonna bang your wife, the entire day is foreplay. And I was like, oh.
Hey.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I like that point of view.
Yeah. Lethargic Luminary. Narwhal. Cerberus was fantastic. Great story, interesting world, and really charming characters. I had my doubts at first, but I look forward to part 2. Thanks, Lethargic. Stoked. $5.
Yeah, people are getting it and reading it finally. It's so good. And they're finally going to realize it as well.
Yeah, part 2 is going to do really well, I think. People are going to be like stoked. Part 2 has a ton of good stuff happening and everything. Jason Smoke for $40. Jason, thank you so much. Watch yourself. Don't spend too much that you.
He needs all the bonks. Yeah, bonk.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bonk.
the bonks.
Tolerated.
Back.
Let's go. Jason's a great supporter, great cheerleader. We appreciate you. So ticking clocks. One thing I kind of want to ask is, Phil, for you, they sort of relate to memorability a little bit. A great ticking clock will always be memorable. Phil, for any of your examples, is there a ticking clock? Like even in that Remender one, is there like any kind of ticking clock?
Well, not specifically in. I mean, there might be. I haven't read it in a while, but in my memory, not specifically in that book. Someone Simply Green was actually just saying in chat right here. He says, so there's a world clock on Apocalypse messing up the world and a character clock on Apocalypse coming to age, right? So you want to keep him from that. But it's not really what I was thinking in Ticking Clock. Like a lot of chase scenes are like ticking clocks where they have to get to one point before something happens. The idea that popped out to me that is they take it to like a literal ticking clock. They did this a few years ago with Batman and the Flash with the button, which was like the big the big event where that led to Doomsday Clock with bringing the Watchmen universe into the DC universe, which is some awesome art by Jason Fabok. It's freaking awesome. So this whole book takes place, I don't know, like a minute. So it's Batman in the Batcave and Reverse Flash shows up and then this clock starts. It's literally at the bottom of these panels. So it's a 1 minute. So everything now from this moment happens within 1 minute of time in their reality, which is like it's a really cool fight scene between Batman and Reverse Flash, and it's counting down the whole time, which took it to the literal sense of this ticking clock thing, showing that. But I haven't read this in a while. I'm not really sure if they tell you what's going to happen at the end of this, but the Flash or Reverse Flash is trying to, I would imagine, kill Batman before that. And then what happens is he gets basically like time paradox sucked up into the button and then comes back like in agony. And you're supposed to assume like he met Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen's universe, and this kicks off like a big event. But I'm pretty sure they fumbled it because Doomsday Clock came out like a year and a half or 2 years after this was published. But, they did cool time passing in here as well.
Yeah, that is cool. That's a great example. With ticking clocks, one thing to get it started too that I was thinking is I kind of prefer to have to think of it too as like the really broad definition, and it can be like all sorts of things. And then if the broader you go, it's almost like you pretty much always want one. And then the function that they seem to serve for the audience is like an interesting thing too. But one example is in Jaws, once the boat gets attacked by the shark and the boat starts to sink and they're stuck in the ocean with the boat sinking, like that's right. Basically a ticking clock. And at that, what's fun though is the functionality for the audience within the story is once that starts to happen, they can feel the acceleration of the story because they have like the reference point of the end of the story. So they know like the story's going to end when the boat sinks, like they're going to die or the shark's going to die. And that's like kind of a fun place to be at as an audience member. That's a lot of times where that's when you get the feeling like, got to keep watching now. Can't turn the TV off now. I was going to do something, but I have to sit down and see what's going to happen. And it is like this end reference point. And what that allows is like the audience kind of making measurements. So like anything that happens, that they're logging that and noting it in their head. So if the boat starts to sink faster, they're noticing that. One example that's kind of like that, it's a little bit more abstract, but it would be like even a growing collection that will eventually end. And when it ends, the story ends. That's almost like a ticking clock, as long as it's kind of growing in a semi-normal way.
Yeah, when you bring that up, what pops to my mind is the Infinity Stones, right, for Thanos.
Yeah.
He's adding this collection of power to him. And once he gets all of them, we're all, screwed.
Yeah.
So that within itself.
You have
like if you really abstract the ticking clock, it's like, is a character accruing power? Is power diminishing? You know what I mean? Like those Infinity Stones, each stone is like a mark on the clock. Like if it's a ticking clock, if someone gets an illness or their village gets an illness and they have to go away and find a cure, you're like, shit, who knows? Because it's like a bit in question. There's not an actual clock. Like you must take 2 days. Like the entire village could die like literally an hour later after he left the village if he came back without You know what I mean? Like he could come back with the cure like a couple of days later, and they already died. So you have some ambiguity to a clock like that too.
Yeah, totally. Rini, what do you think?
I think these are really great examples. I'm trying to think of examples of a ticking clock, and I don't know why my brain is just right now.
It's go general with it, because like just someone being ill, like in a zombie movie, if someone's got bitten, straight away that person has like a ticking clock.
Yeah. Sorry, Princess Mononoke. He has like the curse that's like growing.
I need
on
more
his
damn
arm.
coffee. Though, I think in Princess Mononoke, it's not even because my impression was always that it wasn't going to kill him right away. It was just that, well, it's eventually going to kill him, so he better find out what's happening. And it was like it was going to kill him sooner than he would have naturally lived, kind of thing.
Okay.
At least that's my understanding. But that is similar. That's still something that creates tension. There are small scale ticking clocks in there, kind of like they're trying to stop the boars from becoming a demon when like it's consumed by hate, but then sand can't stop it, and home breaks loose.
Yeah.
Those
It's
moments like that.
It kind of goes hand in hand with stakes, because it's like the audience knows what's going to happen when the clock ends. Like a ticking clock where you don't know what happens when the clock ends, that's not a ticking clock. That would be stupid, like that actually wouldn't be a thing. Like someone's just constantly looking at a clock. You're like, okay, well, like it's winding down. It's going to get to zero pretty soon.
It telegraphs that there will be a zero as well, that there will be an ending. Like I think the audience, whenever there's a ticking clock engaged, you're telegraphed that there will be a conclusion to something, so you kind of like sit up a little bit knowing it's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to conclude, but you know there will be a conclusion.
Yeah, I think, and I do like that. What there was an
like
example.
Mob Psycho's got a great ticking clock. Whenever someone
Yes!
him, and
his
go on.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm agreeing.
Oh,
and then when you switch to Ray again, it's like his meter is bullshitting people. Like his bullshit meter is going up to 100% with scamming everyone.
Yeah, see, that's cool. Yeah, the ring has a good ticking clock, and that's just like a curse thing. A good example too that's a little more abstract is this is like a bit of a stretch, but it's pretty good actually. It's in the movie called Panic Room, David Fincher movie. If you guys remember that or heard of it, that might be a borderline memory hole movie.
I think
that one.
I remember it.
It's a pretty cool, like little, like minimalist story. It all takes place in one apartment. It's a home invasion story, but it's like three guys planning this burglary of this really nice apartment. One of the guys is like he's a ticking time bomb. He's like he's going crazy, and he's gonna F up the job at some point. You're just waiting for it. So the whole movie, there's like so much tension, and that does like pay off and really mess things up, and you just know it's going to happen. But there's no ticking clock. There's no like thing other than you just know, like, this guy's freaking a loose cannon. That's what he is. This guy's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
So what would you call a ticking clock then? Just like slowly accruing external pressure?
Yeah, it's like if you define your stakes, because you have to with the ticking clock, or else it's nothing. So that's like kind of cool. And if you give the end reference point so that the audience can make measurements of this progression towards something, then you pretty much have a ticking clock.
Well,
it's like,
go on.
With that loose definition, it's like you almost would always want one, pretty much.
I honestly think you would. Like, okay, would this be a ticking clock? You know the film Limitless?
Yeah.
Yes. So he takes these tablets that are like he got off a friend. He has a finite amount of them, and when he takes one of them, it unlocks like all of his brain. Oh, you're only using like 2% of your brain. We'll take these, and it gives you all of them. It's basically just meth, just clean meth. So, is him having a limited bag of them a ticking clock? Because he's going to use them, and then he's going to run out of them. There's going to be some kind of car crash that happens when he runs out. Like,
I think there has to be a emphasis on it in the story, because if you, like Narwhal saying, if you don't lay it out, and if the audience can't hear the clock ticking, and it's just all of a sudden happens, then it's something. It was not used as a ticking clock.
Okay,
you know?
Right.
That's
I
a good
think
point.
just having a measure of something building up isn't quite enough. That's sort of like, I think with the way Mob Psycho, now that I think about it, uses it, it's not really, it is building tension, but it's not, the characters have to solve something before their time is up. And I think if the characters are forced to solve something, and when the time is up, either they succeed or they fail, that is a more stricter definition of a ticking clock. And I thought of this so obvious. Again, my brain's not working. All of a sudden, for Princess Mononoke, they have to stop Lady Eboshi before she kills the god. And spoilers, they fail and she kills the god. But then some magic shit happens and there's a resolution. But that was a ticking clock. There were two parties chasing this god at the same time.
Yeah. It's like a ticking clock could be like if you're, this again, like kind of, I don't know if this is exactly, but it kind of could be. Say you're like sneaking around someone's house looking for their document that you really need, and meanwhile they went to get beer and they're coming home. So like they're going to be home any second, and you don't know they're going to be home. That's like the audience knows the thing's happening. Them walking is almost like the tick tick. There's an example. Someone said a great example is Armageddon. Obviously, that's a great one. You have the approaching threat that's approaching almost mathematically in a limited amount of time. That's something where like that is almost could be directly translated to a literal ticking clock. So you're saying, the asteroid's going to hit us in 3 days, 2 hours, 1 minute. We got to figure this out before then. But also, it's just the approaching army, is like that kind of too. But then you might not have the exact mathematical thing about it. But like Game of Thrones sort of might have that later when they got like the winter walkers or whatever coming,
Nobody knows because the books are ever gonna come out.
So
yeah.
Oh, what was that movie that was names? There was a asteroid coming for the Earth and
Armageddon.
Oh, that was Armageddon?
Yeah. No. Deep Impact. The two movies
I saw Deep Impact the other day, actually.
Yeah.
So
that's actually speaking of memorability. One got remembered and one got forgotten, kind of. Why did
I don't remember the title. Yeah, that one.
Because Armageddon's the one with the fucking song.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's like the answer, the iconic memed song.
Steven Tyler.
Yeah, it's one where he dies in the end. He's thinking of his daughter. That's the one, right?
What?
Yeah.
Liv Tyler, right?
Oh.
Iron Line brings up, I wanted to bring this up. McFarlane tried to do this with Spawn in the early issues. At the end of every issue, there was a meter, like a video game health bar that measured how much power Spawn still had at the end of that issue. And then he just like forgot about that. Didn't really do anything about that. But it was like this mysterious thing that's like, what's going to happen when he's got no power, He just abandoned it.
But then if you don't do anything with it, you never trust it ever again. You're like, that's it. You're done. I'm not trusting your gimmicks.
It just occurred to me. Oh my God, modern comic writers are so incompetent. If they want to do that, first of all, they should never have done Lady Thor. But the whole cancer thing, if they had made that a ticking clock, that would have made the story so much more interesting.
Cancer? Lady Thor got cancer?
Yeah, it makes no actual sense with the way they did it, but it's like the Thor powers
supposed to be a god
cause her cancer. No, she's Jane Foster.
Okay.
Yeah, and they didn't make it a ticking clock. Yeah,
they didn't. It's so obvious.
I don't know their example, but I forgot.
I thought of another one. I immediately forgot it.
Well, I mean, going to the Limitless thing. Okay. He's got 5 pills if he eats all 5. And they give him like crazy thought powers. If he eats all 5, he'll die. So he eats like 1 and it's like great. And then he like does 2 and 3 and he's like, shit, I've only got 4 and 5 left. But then he's put in some more predicaments. Is that still the ticking clock, or is it because there's no time? He would choose to take them. Like he doesn't have to take them.
Well, I think the audience needs to know the outcome, you know.
Yeah, there's no inevitability in that
Yeah.
case either. But that's still kind of cool, but it's like maybe a little different.
Right, that's by his own will,
it's gotta be
too.
inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie Exam that I think I recommended it before, right? Where it's just people taking a corporate exam in one room.
Yeah.
It's actually it's like an interesting character exploration. There's literally a ticking clock because there's a giant red numbers because you have a set amount of time to finish the exam, and things are revealed because there's that tension there. And in the Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan film, The Boats. That was also a literal.
Yeah, they have that countdown. Yeah, when there's a big like that exam movie, I watch that and it's like the ticking clock, it'll make you watch the whole thing because you're like, well, it's worst case scenario, it's gonna be over soon, even if it's not super amazing, and you just end up watching it. So it gives you that bonus too. Like people know it's gonna be like that happens with books, even if you look at where you are in the book. I'm like, I'm halfway through. I can't stop now. I'll keep reading because I know it's going to be over soon.
Yeah.
So you know how you said, okay, basically every story could do with one. What is the minimal thing you can do of ticking clock other than like, guy's got to do something, but he's got to do it on Wednesday, and it's the weekend right now.
Yeah, well, like it pretty much always has the stakes defined, which means you know the negative outcome is going to happen. So what would that be without the ticking clock, I guess? And it would be kind of funny. It might have like no, like, drive or whatever. So some guy'd be like, yeah, you have to do this or you're going to die. And the guy's like, oh shoot. Okay. So like, how much time do I have? He's like, as much as you want.
Right. Yeah, that you can have personal investment in it. Like, for example, if the main character has to solve this problem to, for example, save his girlfriend, that's personal incentive. But if there's a time limit to this puzzle, and if you don't solve the puzzle within this time limit, then you don't save your girlfriend. That's 2 layers of tension. So if you can work a ticking clock in, that just makes it more compelling.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's kind of just layering the extra stuff, and like what Phil was saying too is like that will make it more memorable if you can get more of those layers in there.
Chat mentioned Crank and Inception.
Yeah, Crank is right. He's got like he needs to keep his heart rate over a certain amount of time or he'll die. That's very much ticking clock.
Needs to X in Y amount of time or Z. So those are the things that always have to be there.
The formula. I think that's the basic formula. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm wondering, like, does every story have something kind of like that? Like we were saying, almost every story should. Do they?
I don't think every story needs it or has something like that. Like a lot of stories it can just, all you really need is for a character to have some kind of drive. And usually that's an emotional drive, like you're personally compelled to do something. Like Maximus isn't, there isn't really a ticking clock until at the end where he's wounded and stuff, and so it's like, oh man, he's gonna die if he doesn't win this. But it's like he's driven by revenge, and that's quite enough.
Yeah, like Forrest Gump, the movie that vexes me, has and a lot of like the longer, more epic ones. It's like Moments might have a ticking clock, but the movie doesn't. Like Braveheart doesn't really have a ticking clock.
Training for a fight in like a boxing film or a combat film, would that be like knowing that the fight's it has a date set, like a card?
I think so.
Trained for the
good example.
Yeah, it's kind of like the inevitable thing approaching.
This is what I remember I was going to bring up. So a good, I guess, relation or something you could look at is if you watch wrestling, like professional wrestling, sometimes the matches, most of the time, the matches have time limits. So this match can only go 20 minutes. And if it goes longer than that, it's a draw. And so in wrestling, it's all storytelling masked with this action that's happening. So they'll do it where the clock runs out and it's a draw right before the last pinfall happens. But they did this recently on AEW with MJF and Adam Cole, if there's any fans out there. They did, I don't know, 30 minutes of the match. The champion was about to get pinned, and the time limit perfectly ended right before the ref's final third count came down. And everyone in the audience was like, what? And then they call it as a draw, so the championship didn't turn hands. But because they didn't tell the audience, there's 5 minutes left to this match, everyone in the audience was mad about it and booed because they weren't anticipating it. So now they just did, I don't know, last week, they did a similar thing where 5 minutes before the time limit was an hour, 5 minutes before the end of that, they announced it over the arena and on TV. So now everyone was anticipating, oh shit, what's going to happen? Is it going to go to a draw? Are they going to get a pinfall? And that was the really good storytelling on their part, even though they messed up like a month ago. So that set the stakes higher because there was a ticking clock there, and it didn't run out and turn into a draw. There was a pinfall. But now that they've established that, they have to do that with every match. They should call 5 minutes to the end, just so to keep the audience guessing.
It even just gives the audience the knowledge of a new possibility, because they didn't even have that before, so they would feel ripped off completely.
Right.
Eric Huffle says most times there's an implied ticking clock, but there isn't a literal countdown like Transformers the movie. They have to stop Unicron before he eats Cybertron, but the time limit is just soon. Yeah. And that, just even having that is great, though. You kind of need that and need the inevitability kind of thing. There are whole stories that are a ticking clock, and then parts of stories that have a ticking clock, like the Death Star battle in Star Wars. Yeah. So it definitely comes up.
I think if you could show the metaphorical clock ticking and time diminishing, it emphasizes the stakes being higher and higher,
Yeah, and just people being like aware, like even if it's like that applied to say like the Jaws example with the ship sinking.
Yeah.
If like say like you don't show shots of the water in the ship slowly rising, so they don't even know, and then at the end the ship sinks and they're like, what?
Yeah.
So
right.
Yeah, like you have to like set it up.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys differentiate strictly between the definition we gave before, or Jake gave before, of the ticking clock is you have to do X before the Z time, and versus it's two character parties, like protagonist and antagonist, competing against each other? Now, obviously you're following the protagonist and they just have to complete this task before the antagonist achieves victory. Because these sound different.
I have an answer to that, but I don't know if it's an exacting answer. Like that, when I first heard of Noel's method of like a car crash and stuff, and I thought of that one story, like two brothers that were torn apart by like an unrequited love, both get an invitation to her wedding. Like there is a ticking clock there because it's like a wedding day is going to happen, and then there are two parties that are then going to like advance on the terrain of the wedding ceremony, I guess. But like, is that the kind of thing you would mean? Like, there's no actual clock, but you know there's an event gonna happen there, and these people are moving to it. Or
who are you talking to?
Rini?
Yeah, sorry.
That makes sense.
Or you just mean something like two different parties are like venturing towards the MacGuffin.
Oh, well, yeah.
It can be either or. It can be
like, would that count as like even Lord of the Rings? Like they're going to Mount Doom, and you can measure it on the map, and so you know it's happening. Oh, I remember the book now too, because I couldn't remember it, but it's called Manga in Theory and Practice. It's from the guy who did JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and There wasn't that much amazing stuff, but it was pretty sweet though. That's like I recommend if anyone interested in reading those kind of books. But he said the measuring of the progress is like super important, and this is in manga. But he says like if you're doing like the rising action of the middle of a story, you can have like say Frodo, you know, he's trying to get the ring to Mount Doom, and someone steals the ring and runs away. So he's like, shit, I lost the ring. He has to go get the ring. You could have a whole huge fun adventure, and it would be awesome. And then it ends finally after like lots of shit. Frodo gets the ring back. But then if he like just starts back on the trail to Mount Doom, right where he was at the point where the ring got stolen, and you're just right where you left off, the audience would kind of have this feeling like that might as well have not have happened. And
yeah, he needs to change when he gets back to that point. He needs to be different in some way. The character.
Yeah. Like even if it's just accumulating a skill, manga will do it that way. Like, and then he's got a new armament with him.
Yeah, that side story or turn down a different path needs to matter.
But it's the feeling of progress really helps.
The JoJo guy, because he's going to be talking about like gaining power in combat and stuff. So it's like if you want to show characters growing, you do have to demonstrate that growth. Otherwise, people aren't really going to comprehend what progress has been made. Is that kind of like what it was more about?
Yeah, that's what like a ticking clock could kind of do, or this broader, weird, abstract definition of how we're kind of applying it is like the audience being able, you need like reference points, and the audience being able to make measurements. So they're like, oh, there is change happening. There is progress being made. There's one in the interactivity book. This is like a little bit tangential, but it is kind of interesting that this is with like the car metaphor, but you could be going 200 miles an hour and that actually feels like nothing. Like there's no physics on your body at that point, but accelerating from 0 to 200, you feel everything. You feel like your cheeks get ripped back and stuff. And so it's always the change, the acceleration is what we feel. And I think that applies to stories too. Like it's not really like how you could be going fast, but if it's staying the same, it's not really going to do much for people.
Yeah, that's a good metaphor. I think there's a difference between, I wouldn't call making a progress tracker a ticking clock though. Like, and let me know if you guys agree, but I think there's a differentiation. So like the Mob Psycho thing, or for example, Lord of the Rings, with they're making progress on the map. I think stuff like that, and that's kind of how I'm tracking Fiendish. Fiendish is very map-based. It's like location. So you know where the next goal is, but there's also eventually going to be competition with, you have to get to the thing before the antagonist. But anyways, that is more of a progress tracker, and that adds tension, but a ticking clock is like a time limit or you fail kind of thing. They're a little different, but they're similar.
Yeah, and it's good to,
Yeah, like it's specifically time, basically, that's passing without the control of the person. It's a constant external building of pressure that they can't change. There's nothing they can't change time, right? So the one thing that no one has power over, manipulating time. Yeah. So like everyone is a slave to it.
Yeah, that's what kind of with these ticking clock. It always will inherently have the stakes and defined of the fail state. Sometimes the fail state's not defined. It's like that's when you pretty much want to define that. But that's in David Mamet's 3 rules. He says like, well, number 1, if you're going to start writing something, answer 3 questions first. Number 1, what does your character want? Number 2, what happens if they don't get it? And that's like the best question to answer. That my writing leveled up a lot when I heard that. I was like 25. And I had been like spinning my wheels for like 5 years because I remember, I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner or realize that how cool that is. But the second that's on the table, then the audience is measuring the progress, measuring like the 2 possibilities of the fail state possibly happening, and the stakes get raised like super high. The stakes basically exist. They wouldn't exist as much if that isn't there. And his third question is why now? which I don't even know what that means. I don't get that one actually.
Well, that's almost the ticking clock thing. Why now?
Why now?
Because I have a ticking clock to go do it now. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
why now go and save them? Well, she was
Oh,
kidnapped
maybe.
because
So
of the
like
prophecy.
Armageddon, why now? Well, because it's coming here. It's going to destroy the Earth.
No, exactly. That's kind of like what that means. Like what?
I bet you're right. I can't. So that's funny. I went 10 years not knowing what that meant. I thought it meant meta. I thought it meant like
you've been focusing on ticking clocks for a bit as well in your head, and like I have had that other bit flying around that other problem, and now it's like
yeah, they're the same thing.
Same.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
It's like when they make a break from physics, and then all the old physics is like thrown out because they've got new physics now.
So I have a good example of a ticking clock from another story. So in the Dark Tower series, in I think it's book 3 or 4, it's called The Wastelands. The protagonists have to get on this monorail, and the monorail has an AI like HAL from 2000, Space Odyssey. So they get on and they have to get to a different point, right? But the AI is evil and says that when we get there, I'm going to crash into, whatever and kill all you guys and myself. But the thing that I love more than life itself is riddles. So if you could tell me a riddle that I can't figure out, tell you the answer to, I won't kill you. So the whole book is them trying to stump the monorail, Blaine, that they're in before they get to the end point and die. And it's great tension. It comes down to, the last few minutes till they get to their destination until they stump them. So that's like total ticking clock thing.
What riddle stumps him finally? Is it like, I can imagine it being stupid.
So it's like a very crude, like dead baby joke riddle. I remember. I could look it up though.
Nice. That's kind of cool.
I'm tempted to make a character say, wait a minute, he wants to busy us with riddles. Clearly we can defeat this within the time limit if we weren't distracted by riddles. So then the characters run off and like foil him in a different way. Like why would the villain say, I really love riddles. During this ticking clock, you should busy yourself with talking to me and thinking of silly riddles.
Meanwhile, you could just blow the AI up.
Yeah, you can like go and stop the train. But he's like, riddle me this, human.
It's a distraction.
Try and give me a tasty paradox to blow my circuitry. See if it'll work.
The only other example.
It's set up pretty well too, because earlier. Go on, Irene.
No. I was going to change something.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, the kid, one of the protagonists, finds a book of riddles in a bookstore in the previous setting, so they have that and they go through all that and they can't stump them. But I'm gonna look this
Lord of the Rings has a riddle set piece too. That's kind of tradition.
I was trying to think if all the memorable things have to be set pieces, but I think they have all those memorable moments have set piece energy.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can specifically like a memorable music number is a set piece. Like,
you just gotta advertise.
Continue, Jake.
I thought you were gonna bring it up.
You know what? I admire the hustle.
Oh yeah, thanks. I've taken some pages out of all your guys' books. I'm going to update it. Let's see how much it went up. It went up a fair amount, I think.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice. 250 or something. So getting kind of
nice.
Close.
Yeah.
I think it's gone up 5 backers.
Over 10. Be great.
We've kind of pumped it enough, but I want to make sure the chat, if we got any new people watch, it's 90 people watching right now. Just be aware that Earthbound, the sequel to Earthbound, is available in crowdfunding now. on GoFundMe and check it out.
Does it have a ticking clock in it? Does this story have a ticking clock in it?
There's a ticking clock right there.
Yeah.
But you clearly
10 days to
exceeded
go.
your. Hold on. Raised in 4 days. Is there a how ends? Does it end? Ends on July 31st. That's the
10
ticking
days
clock.
to go.
And the progress tracker is a 938%. Look, we've come full circle.
You got all the important storytelling elements of that.
It's the narrative of my campaign. Will it reach the goal? It already has. But will it reach the stretch goal?
Stretch
That's
goals.
the important thing.
The stretch goal, it has to reach the stretch goal on Fund My Comic, and stretch goal is 20K. So like, I feel like we can do it 10 days to get about 10K. It'll be, with a good end. Usually they speed up at the end. Can we do it? And if you hit the stretch goal, the book will include an awesome short story. So then it'd be like 2 books almost for the price of 1, and a lot more pages, 8 to 12 more pages. The short story is pretty fun too. It's kind of a spoof of Star Trek, but taking it kind of seriously. But like, it's like the engineer working with the captain, and in the middle of a battle, like, I need more power. I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. It's like that situation, but
She can't take no more.
yeah, it's like that, but like my version of it, kind of.
I like that.
I do. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Star Trek. I'm a convert kind of recently. It was the last like 3 years I watched Star Trek for the first time.
Oh, which Star Trek?
The original series is what I got really into. And I would watch the second series, whatever that one's called, but I haven't. It's not available anywhere.
Next Gen?
Yeah, the Next Generation.
For example, Next Gen gets a lot of hate, but that was the one I mostly watched because it was for free on TV.
Which one was that one? The one with the lady or the one with Patrick Stewart?
The one with Picard, yeah, Patrick Stewart and Data. That was good. I don't know why you didn't
Michael. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say DS9. DS9 is the one with the lady. It's a little boring.
A little dry, if you ask me.
My dad watched that one.
Michael Deitch says heist movies always have some kind of good ticking clock going on.
For sure. Yeah, someone else in the chat was saying romantic comedies usually do with like weddings or an illness, or trying to stop someone from getting on a plane or some shit like that. But a lot of those could be like just smaller scene stuff, not a full storyline thing. I did find the riddle that stumped Blaine. Ooh. And it was, why did the dead baby cross the road? And then
because it left its shoes.
Couldn't figure it out, and then he like fried. The answer was because it was stapled to a chicken.
Oh, that's like a Stephen King tweet.
That's horrible.
That's Stephen King for you.
I thought it would be something profound and deep. It's like it takes a human to solve it, and an AI could never solve it. And lo and behold, it was just
yeah. Well, the guy that told it was like, he's like the guy from the streets, like he's an ex-heroin addict, and grew up in New York, so he was very uncultured.
Let's see if I think Jack's show started, and we got 80 people watching. Thanks for sticking around, everyone who's here. We are going to kind of transition slowly
the true believers.
Part 2 of the show, where we're kind of just hanging out and talking about the nature of existence.
With the cat video?
Did you get the cat video?
I don't have it.
Boo! Finally, so recreate it.
I will share it. I will share the video. No, Jake. Actually, we should do that. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Irene.
Jake just going there.
We can make our own. We don't
what if
need
we all do it
cat videos.
Whoa! We're entering a new dimension. What's gonna happen?
Holy shit!
Whoa!
Guess we're in part 2 now.
Nice.
What is this show? What is happening?
Yeah, that was a new history of YouTube and Comicsgate right there.
Yeah.
Lore.
We're making lore.
Cameras.
I want to show you guys this. This is a version of kind of what Phil's talking about, similar scene, AI versus human battle of wits kind of thing. This movie, Dark Star, it's a cult classic, a kind of awesome movie. It's John Carpenter's first movie. He actually did it as a student, I think, but it's so I'll just hit play. We'll watch it for a little bit and see if we'll see if my internet works, and we'll see if it's like entertaining. But
See if your channel gets struck.
yeah, can you guys hear it?
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Goodbye now.
Hello, Bob.
Bob,
Are you with me?
are you with me?
Of course.
Are you willing to entertain a few concepts?
I am always receptive to suggestions.
Fine. Think about this then.
Look
The
at
bomb is
that.
about to like go off, and it's a nuclear bomb. It's about to go off. He's trying to talk it out of it.
How about this then? You
How do you
listening?
know you exist?
Ticking clock.
What the hell is he doing?
I think he's talking to it. Well, of course I exist.
But how do you know you exist?
It is intuitively obvious.
Intuition is no proof. What concrete evidence do you have that you exist?
Well, I think, therefore I am.
That's good. That's very good. But how do you know that anything else exists?
My sensory apparatus reveals it to me.
Ah, right.
This is fun.
Now listen. Here's the big question. How do you know that the evidence your sensory apparatus reveals to you is correct? What I'm getting at is this. The only experience that is directly available to you is your sensory data. And this sensory data is merely a stream of electrical impulses that stimulates your computing center.
In other words, all that I really know about the outside world is relayed to me through my electrical connections.
Exactly.
Why, that would mean that I really don't know what the outside universe is like at all, for certain.
That's it. That's it.
Intriguing. I wish I had more time to discuss this matter.
Why don't you have more time?
Because I'll detonate in 75 seconds.
Now, Bomb, consider this next question very carefully. What is your one purpose in life?
To explode, of course.
And you can only do it once, right?
That is correct.
And you wouldn't want to explode on the basis of false data, would you?
Of course not.
Well then, you've already admitted that you have no real proof of the existence of the outside universe.
Yes, well,
So you have no absolute proof that Sergeant Pinback ordered you to detonate.
I recall distinctly the detonation order. My memory is good on matters like these.
Of course you
brain
remember it, but all you're remembering is merely a series of sensory impulses which you now realize have no real definite connection with outside reality.
It's the puppet
True.
master.
But
It's gonna
since
blow
it's
up.
so, I have no proof that you are really telling me all this.
That's all beside the point. I mean, the concept is valid no matter where it originates. So if you detonate in
9 seconds.
you could be doing so on the basis of false
So
data.
big.
I have no proof it was false data.
You have no proof it was correct data.
Bye-bye.
Think on this further.
Oh, that is going to explode.
Yeah. No,
That
but
felt
then,
like every relationship argument ever. But how do you know? But I don't know about my feelings, but your feelings. Oh
That
my
was
God.
that's
That was like
There's total AI cope as well. I shall think on this.
I know.
yeah.
Loser AI, think on this, bitch.
He should have blown up. It would have been better.
No, you got to keep watching. It's so funny. There's one more minute. So I think it shows it here.
All right, Bomb. Prepare to receive new orders.
You are false data. Therefore, I shall ignore you.
Hello, Bomb.
False data can act only as a distraction. Therefore, I shall refuse to perceive you.
Hey, Bomb.
The only thing which exists is myself.
Snap out of it, Bomb.
In the beginning, there was darkness, and the darkness was without form and void.
What the hell is he talking about? Bob.
And in addition to the darkness, there was also me. And I moved upon the face of the darkness,
Oh no.
and I saw that I was alone.
Hey, Bomb.
Let there be light.
Oh.
Oh, damn. That gave me goosebumps. Yeah. Nice.
Hey,
That's funny. That was 4 minutes. Pretty entertaining. Just like an old 70s movie.
All that just for yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I've got another classic ticking clock.
What is it? Oh, sorry. There it is.
Of course, it's future.
15. -8. You've got the wrong Santa.
Remember when he was counting
I'm
down
Santa
on the
Claus.
random number generator?
What? 27. No.
We're also Santa Claus.
And I'm his friend Jesus.
Your mayorness, if you execute him, you have to execute all of us.
You people aren't Santa. You're not even robot. 91. How dare you lie in front of Jesus? Hey, 0.
Okay. So he's counting. There was a countdown to his death, but on a random number generator.
Wow, what a concept. Well.
Oh shit!
Well,
Cover that.
Cecil just showed the Cecil just showed the colored version of Santa.
Your internet sucks.
The raccoon nibbling on the wires.
I can see it. For me.
Sound keeps cutting out. Well, at least we got through it.
Welcome
It
to the
kept on-
retarded half of the show.
Yeah, the sound kept cutting out for me. It doesn't matter. Welcome. What do you say? Cecil just showed the cover?
He just showed the color version of the cover.
Hell yeah.
colored cover.
Pretty
Nice.
good, right?
Hold on, it looks pretty
Oh,
good.
good job.
Pull it
What
up.
do you guys think about Oppenheimer? Do you guys want to see that one?
Pull it up.
Yeah, I guess
I
I'd
haven't
see
seen
it.
it.
If I wanted to go outside, I guess we could all watch it in Florida. Oh God, you know, next week I'm actually like it's my turn again, and I'm gonna be in Florida on the day.
I think we.
Oh, yeah,
can
me too.
skip next week. I think that's.
Oh really?
I'll be there.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or we could do it from Jake's hotel. Narwhal, are you going
Good
to the
old
freaking
dude in my
show?
hood.
I'll literally be driving. So.
I still haven't decided.
It's
No,
next.
you
It's a week
motherfucker.
from today.
I've
I
already
know.
paid for the hotel room.
It's
But you
Yeah.
don't have a hotel yet, Narwhal.
Well, I can
because
crash
I-
with Jake. If
I got
do
I
those
got a
two.
room with 2 beds in it, so Normal would have somewhere to go when he finally does.
You're
buy-
that
You gotta
friend
come
that never
then.
gets a hotel, and it's like, well, somebody's gonna have space or a floor or a
There's
bathtub.
no there's no hotel excuse. There is a bed I
gotta come.
bought for it.
You gotta
Yeah.
come. Joe Catapano is going to be there. I just figured that out today.
Share my screen while this is happening, Noel.
Bancroft.
At Bancroft Day.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know it'd be all fire. That's cool.
Yay!
Fire.
Oh, this isn't quite done. I think he has still some work.
She's already complaining. That's
No,
great.
I'm not complaining because
It's
Cecil
an old
showed-
file.
No, Cecil showed me, and I know there's a couple things he has to do, but it does look really good.
Did you color that, Rainey?
No. This is Kyle.
Oh,
Kyle Richer?
How many times has
Nice.
Kyle colored your work, Rainy, or is this the first? Or
This is the first time, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool,
Look,
huh?
it's John.
Oh yeah.
Hi, who's the chick with the giant cans?
the
Some random
babe?
chick with giant cans.
Who's that? No, the one.
John
down there.
probably thinks it's a compliment that I put his lookalike in there, but what he doesn't see is Cecil is going to just land right on top of him, and
Yeah.
he's going to be prime splat matter
I
when
love
this
it.
all plays out.
I love it. It's like John, even though he may be center stage and the only other person referenced something that may be cool, but little does he know. Totally in my future plans for what happens next. He totally
Ooh.
dies. Like, okay.
Ah.
Oh shit!
Oh no! Don't kill your mic. Yay! Well, that turned out pretty cool. Is this? I wonder if it's going to be a virgin cover. I did kind of leave space for logo, but whatever. Whatever.
It looks awesome.
Yay!
I dig this. This is great, Irene. I love everything about it. Really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I gave the suggestions to make the explosion more yellow, but I don't know if he'll do it. Maybe he'll just ignore me.
He'll
It's gonna
probably
go.
ignore you.
It's gonna go from yellow to the orange, right? Like yellow in the big.
Well, I
I
thought
love
the
his
yellow and the full would make the foreground pop out more, so the
Mm.
background's more orange. That would delineate lanes and shit. Oh, I thought,
Speaking of colors,
yeah, actually, I already showed it. I already went to print, but I have trading cards to show. You guys want to see actually?
yeah.
I have to not show the stats. So can I do this?
Just show the back of the cards really quick. No one will notice.
No, I mean I probably will slip up, but I'll try not to. Dun 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 dun.
You know, I enjoyed. There was a stream you were doing where you colored the old woman, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching you. I did because you haven't done many coloring streams that I can recall.
Yeah,
Except for,
guys.
like really
yeah.
old ones. So like I really liked watching you color this because I saw how you did your shines. I know you're very particular about shines, so
I am. Yeah, you've noticed. When
it's fine. I am
when you
too.
color my work, all my notes were like, "Where shines in this specific place."
Shines
love
and
this character.
shines and glowies, but I'm the same.
Need everything
So cool.
to be shiny. Yeah, so this is. I do color, guys. I'm so annoyed when it's like, okay, I don't color interiors because I'm just too slow. Okay, but I fucking know Photoshop. I can color, and like I've had like 5 people see the main cover for Fiendish, and they're like, "Who colored that?" I did. I can color people, so this is someone else's art. I have a trading card artist, and I'm coloring these. So
I want to watch more
great.
coloring streams from you. I really do want to see how you color.
oh, thanks.
You know who I want to see color is
Yes.
Dale Keown. I didn't know he can color really good too.
Yeah, he colors his own
Yeah.
stuff. I didn't know all that stuff was him coloring himself.
Because it's funny, yeah, it looks like perfect, basically, the coloring. So I'm like,
I didn't have a chance to segue. I was going to speaking of colors.
Oh, well,
Yes.
yeah. Speaking of colors and boobs,
Yeah, the boobs. Everyone's showing their colored boobs. Look at this.
yeah, colored boobs are good. More colored boobs.
Let me
There's
see.
no
I might have
boobs
some
here.
colored boobs to show.
I totally thought I already had a Ragnar trading card just because of the big prints that you did.
Oh yeah, I did some because we did that trading card super early, and I did these postcards for people that got the Fiendish 1 colored books because I was like so delayed. So I'm like, I'm gonna give you guys free shit. But it doesn't have the stats. So this trading card, the actual trading card, will have the stats, and you can see a mini version. But I'm not gonna click on it or show you. It's gonna be a secret.
I don't even know. I don't even know how those stats work. Are you? I can't wait till you stat the hedgehog trading card.
Yeah, do you want me to walk you through it? I actually talked to my GM about it, and he gave me a few ideas, so I'm gonna take it from there.
Sure.
Yeah, it was hilarious. He's like an eldritch hedgehog. Okay, I'm like, yes.
Okay,
So-
that's gonna be so cool.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
I'm gonna color that as soon as I can. I don't know if I'll do it before I go to Tampa, but yeah, do
Do
more
it while
coloring
you're-
streams.
Here's colored
Okay.
boobs for you.
Boobs.
In my book.
Nice.
Nice. Boobs.
Those are boobs.
And the nipples have good placement and the good pointing direction.
Oh yeah. Somebody was
I know. I went.
had a problem with the nipples. Okay, first of all, in cases I know like artistically it's the general place, but nobody's nipples completely match. Okay, it's like a thing, and they're always different sizes. It's always like no woman is completely symmetrical.
Guys, this is Rainy coping over the
It's not me
nipple
coping.
game. I was going to defend because I feel like he was saying they're off because
I have a
they're
defense.
pointing like machine guns, like straight ahead. They must be symmetrically pointing straight ahead. I'm like, they don't
Wait,
even
did
do
he
that.
want
You
that?
point about like this kind of a little bit.
No,
Wait,
I'm not
did
saying
he actually want them forward facing? That would have been crazy. There were already 2 forward facing.
Yeah, I might have been straw manning his argument.
Yeah. No, they definitely weren't completely parallel, but you know what the truth is? Truth is it was a sketch, and I didn't have that much time because I was trying to get it done quickly.
I just
Oh
imagine.
yeah, it's these.
I just imagined that pushed the boobs around weird. The tube top, the tight top.
Feel free to change the nipple.
Yeah, like that from a top view.
Wait, I know I'll move it if it bothers you. It doesn't bother me at all.
You'll just move it all the way to the top, like
on her forehead.
Oh, no.
This was fun to color. Also, I thought it was going to be harder than it actually was, but I was just overthinking it. So
it looks great. You did good. I like the good job on the shines.
Yeah, coloring all those pieces, the bedeviled pieces. I was like,
let me pull that up.
If you can. You can totally cover up this stuff. Yes, people can finally see it. No one's seen any of those yet except for the cover.
Just the no, I showed it yesterday on John's stream.
Do you guys recognize this person?
Yeah, is that the lawyer guy? Or no?
Who is that?
No, it's not Ryan Blue Thunder. It's a comics creator.
No, I don't recognize. What?
Drawn in.
That?
It's Neff from Global Frequency.
Oh, that's Neff. Yeah. Now that you say it, I can tell. I think I never seen him in like a shirt. He's always in a hoodie, so it just didn't register.
He's our ref. You got drawn in as the ref. Yeah.
Neff the
he
ref.
also dies. He dies on the next page. So rip.
Rip.
Poor Neff.
Poor Neff. Here's more colors. Nicely centered to protect Narwhal's channel.
Oh, you did show them.
I did. I showed him yesterday.
She looks so good. Every time I look at it, she looks great. I love her.
It does look great. You did a good job. I was really, really picky about those rim lights, but Jake did great putting up with all my 1,000,001 notes. And I added these tentacle thingies to the title, and I'm really proud of it. I think it turned out kind of pretty cool.
How many pages is that art book?
It's only like 22 pages.
Are you going to have that for sale eventually, like with the 2.5 at all?
I don't know. I think I need to be
As
like a
book?
better... Yeah, and I need to be a better business person about it because I only printed 100 copies because I just needed to get a quick turnaround for Tampa. Maybe I'll have overflow because I want it to be limited, right? I don't want to put it up on the store so everybody and their mama can get it. But maybe as an add-on with 2.5.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah, why not? But I do want it to be somewhat limited because I like to reward people for paying attention. And I showed this as well. So this is the back cover. And there's a couple of more color pieces inside that I'm not going to reveal yet. You're going to have to buy the book to see those. And of course, a lot of like demon boobies and stuff. It's 22 pages of all kinds of demon girls and stuff. And Jake actually colored 4 pieces. So this is just the front and back cover. And there's 2 more inside.
I colored 3 of them in 2 days.
Yeah, you did.
And then he back out. He was dead to the world.
Yeah, and I was like, later.
Gonna color Phil's, but out.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Sorry. Oh, you reminded him. The pain is bad.
Yeah. Hey, check this out. Back to memorability a little bit. I found this on IMDb. It's a list of memory hold movies. So I just want to go down it real quick. See if there's anyone chat or here in the panel. Anyone that we actually remember. I guess all these we forget because that's the thing is like it's hard, you can't even remember something that you forgot. So there's like thousands of examples that we just don't even know. But Cookie King Ralph, Dance Till Dawn, a 1988 TV movie, True Crime, Light of Day, American Hot Wax from 1978, Little Darlings. That sounds like it might ring a bell. From 1980.
Noel thought we all forgot the film Toys as well. But no, we remembered that one.
I would have forgot it until you mentioned it just now. Is that the one with Robin Williams or something?
Yeah, and he's like a big toy factory guy, but he's dead.
Weird. I kind of want to rewatch that. That's weird.
I would rewatched the other film he was in where it was like that progeria kid that didn't look progeria at all. He was like aging rapidly.
Yeah, I remember that
aging
one.
Kid Jack.
Yeah, that one's pretty sad.
I had a thing for his friend's mom so much as a kid.
It's weird.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
A movie called
Probably.
Gotcha from 1985. Jonathan plays Gotcha with fellow college students, testing ability as assassination or mark using paintball guns on campus. He flies to Paris on vacation and, with a woman taking his virginity, on to Berlin, where the game/ammo gets real.
Oh my god.
Citizen Ruth.
Nope.
1996. An irresponsible, drug-addicted, recently impregnated woman finds herself in the middle of an abortion debate when both parties attempt to sway her to their respective sides. Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I love
That went straight down the memory hole. It was trying to be political or whatever.
But did you watch these? What
No,
are
this is just some list. I haven't seen any of these. But it's directed by Alexander Payne. He's a famous director too. So, and Laura Dern's a famous actress. So that's like a big one. That one got forgotten, I tell you what.
Wait, how do people define something as a memory hole movie? Who defines that?
Well, everyone has it for themselves. We all just kind of guess, and you might get it right for more people. But this is just like a list. I'm just going down it. So this is what this person thought our memory hold. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know any of these. So
Yeah, not a single one.
But it would kind of count too if it's something that I haven't thought of for years, and then it reminds me. Because even these, I've just never even heard of them. But actually, Starman, that's a John Carpenter movie, I think, and it's like kind of famous. Yeah, John Carpenter.
Yeah.
So that's like a good movie. But Creator, the F is this shit? Peter O'Toole, Mario Way, Electric Dreams, My Science Project, Modern Girls, The Witches of Eastwick, George Miller. That's the guy who directed Mad Max.
Mad Max.
He did a movie, weird, starring Jack Nicholson, Cher, Susan Sarandon, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Remember when we realized young Jack Nicholson looked like iDubbbz?
Yeah, that was funny. That was very accurate, very true.
That was crazy. Sorry, it just popped into my head.
Yeah, I'm catching up with the chat a little bit too. I've seen some of these. Savannah smiles. Savannah is the only child of a wealthy politician, Richard Driscoll, who is more concerned with his image and career than with his family. Aw.
Oh.
Howard
the Duck. Everybody knows that one.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Directed by Willard the Duck. Willard.
I don't think I've seen almost any of these.
No one else has except for Howard the Duck, and I haven't actually watched that.
Have you guys seen
yes.
this one?
Return to Oz is good.
Wait, no, well, have you never seen Return to Oz?
No, I haven't. It's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh,
that one's cool. It has the witch who like collects little girls' heads and she puts
Heads,
them
yeah.
every morning.
Yeah.
You could wear a different head. Yeah, my girlfriend introduced me to that one.
I love the robot guy. He's like a little World War II British trench soldier guy in a robot. I love robots.
Jake, do the thing. I think he wants bonk.
I think he wants $2.
Now that's money.
Boing, boing, boing. There you go.
Thanks, Caleb, for $2. Starman is not memory hold. I kind of agree. I think that shouldn't be on the list.
I'm so glad people can send me $2 on my channel now.
Vibes, starring Cyndi Lauper and Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum is in a lot of awesome memory hold movies. He's in Earth Girls Are Easy. You guys ever heard of that?
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Sounds
He's
cool,
in Transylvania 6500. I just know because these are like movies at Walmart. They were $3 or something in the bin, you know. So I buy them. I'm like, what the fuck is this? House of Cards, A Cry in the Dark, Cloak and Dagger. That sounds fun.
I do miss the mystery of media when you didn't just have all the information to pull up and you could find a random thing. You got it.
Yeah.
The good old days. The 90s
Yeah.
before the internet.
Son, everybody knows son-in-law.
What? You know,
Hey.
what is son-in-law?
Yeah, Pauly Shore.
Oh, it's Pauly Shore.
Yeah, it's one of his famous movies.
No, well, if you don't come to Tampa, then you can't play Settlers of Catan with us.
Wait, we're playing Catan?
Sounds
Aren't you
horrible.
bringing it? I thought you were bringing it.
Did I mention that? How drunk
I
was
thought you said you hate Catan, Rini.
I thought, okay, hold on. This is what happened. My brain was like, I wonder if I should be that weirdo that brings board games to a
bring
convention
them.
where people are supposed to be drinking and partying. And I was like, I want to tell people. I'm going to ask a creative block. Did I ask you guys and then I forgot I asked?
It was in a
I don't
stream.
remember.
It was in a. I think it was in a stream with me and you and
here.
I wasn't there. I don't think.
It might have been just after last week's creative
It was
block.
one of your back rooms.
I was like, bring
that
the
we're
board
annexed
games.
from.
Yeah,
I said I wished other people were staying a couple of days either side, because when you go on holiday, you want to go out and do stuff instead of sitting around playing board games, like, which would be fun. And I think then you were like, I'm gonna bring mine.
I will, yeah. I'll bring Catan. Catan's pretty intense, so I'll have other shit. I have a set of nerd Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
Like Wonka's Nerds, like the candy?
No. It's Cards Against Humanity, but specifically their nerd question and answers.
I bought one of their box sets from PAX Prime in 2012, and they had basically a long black box, and it was just called the Bigger Blacker Box. So I got the Cards Against Humanity Bigger Blacker Box, and it came with a condom, a Condoms Against Humanity condom.
Oh, I love
Nice.
that game. It's so funny.
Jesus.
Date with an Angel. This one, I'd watch this one. It says, an aspiring composer discovers a broken-winged, beautiful angel in his swimming pool. This sounds like anime, by the way.
Oh, this does sound like anime.
When everyone finds out, he must deal with his jealous fiance, his future father-in-law, and his friends who have a business plan.
But where's the ticking clock?
Oh, no, we're done with the subject.
Now let's put a ticking clock in the story. It'll really take off.
You know, what I really want to do is be really annoying and indoctrinate everybody into playing Pathfinder, but I know nobody will sit down and.
Don't you have to sit there with rulers and stuff and like calculate numbers?
No, not rulers. You just have to have a lot of patience and probably a calculator for about 5 hours. But it's fun because the whole point is you come up with a cool character idea, and there's a lot of learning because you have to learn all the specific abilities. It's like a video game, but all the attacks and rolls and abilities you have to keep track of manually. But it's cool because you get to completely customize a character from the ground up, including their backstory, their personality, and you can't do that with a video game. That's why I like it.
Just play Spin the Bottle instead.
I knew that'd be your answer. So that's not gonna happen, but I love Pathfinder.
With games like Pathfinder, it's like I would have to have a friend that do all that working out the numbers for me because I'm so bad with numbers. Otherwise, I'd love to.
You could totally play the most basic bitch characters and just do all. I feel like you would enjoy just a role play and like a low math build. You could definitely do that. Like the lowest math build is probably a fighter. You just say hit things hard, and so you could just role play and have fun. And a really complex build would be a wizard, where you're keeping. You have to actually keep track of the spell build, like the build of how you play it. It makes you feel like you're actually playing. You're actually being a wizard because you have to literally study and keep track of like a million things.
That's cool. That's crazy. I've always wanted to play. I've never had a friend group where I could play like D&D style stuff, but I've always wanted to. But at the same time, I'm so bad with numbers. But yeah, that sounds really fun.
I understand. Yeah, it's not like complex math. It's really just keeping track of a lot of things. Oh, Alex VRB. Wish that would be fun. My Pathfinder friend in chat. We gotta do that Pathfinder creative block thing someday.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta work on that.
Yes, I have a cowboy hat coming for when I go to Renaissance Fair.
Oh.
Maybe a gunslinger.
Do you say both sides of that are behind plastic now, or is the back still on the surface? Yeah.
No, the back is still on the surface, but I kind of like it like that. I like that you can see, you can feel it, you can feel the lines and stuff.
I'm so glad you managed to get the print to look good.
Me too. I was really worried because I was like, is this printer just not aligned? And I'm like, what am I going to go to next? But no, the factory is really good. They're they're great to work with. I'm so glad I finally found printers and factories that are good to work with. Oh, so hard. They're so pretty. It's so pretty. Ooh, your pen.
Oh yeah, I'll have these.
Dude, that's awesome. But I need one of those.
Go. Could be you'll get one, Phil.
Have I shown you guys these?
Yes.
Yeah, those are cool.
A gray one done.
Yeah,
instead of
the hat.
Yeah.
Wasn't one of them supposed to be
under-
green? Didn't you get a green one?
No, the actual bills are green, but this is how they come. Actually, I sketched out something else. These are painted.
So you painted on those?
Yeah, I painted over the green because I actually didn't like the green, so I was like, let me paint them. And then somebody's like, the green is a mark of authenticity or something. I'm like, well, fuck me.
One person from the audience, the green is relevant, okay?
Yeah, apparently it's some like snapback lore and shit. But well, oh well. Yeah, I have a few painted ones if anybody wants them.
Sell them at auction for $800.
No.
Today was the 50th anniversary of the passing of Bruce Lee.
Oh, now I'm sad.
July 20th.
He was totally killed by the triads, by the way.
1973.
Yeah, is that the guy they said died of taking a paracetamol?
Yeah, the ultra fit guy who died of taking aspirin.
Yeah, his brain swole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're likely story. Likely story, motherfuckers. Yeah, the triads got him, allegedly. Please don't murder me next time I go to Hong Kong.
I'm looking at flights right now.
You haven't booked your flights yet?
No.
Yes, oh dear. There probably are flights though. It's domestic.
Well, sometimes if you wait till the last day, they get really cheap. So I was thinking about doing that.
I don't wait till the last day though. Oh my gosh.
Fucking hell.
Wait, I want to show you guys that with a white paper behind you can see the actual print on the card.
It looks wonderful.
Yeah, see the characters.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And the buildings and stuff. It's like panels from the comic, and then the bottom part is the base, and it cuts out of the trees in the background.
Noel was looking at all the prices of the flights and thinking to himself, how do I let these guys down slowly?
That's exactly what his face is saying. It's like, so guys, Grand Prix isn't quite made enough for me to afford this yet.
Yeah.
Why? Don't let us down now. Wow. You have to come.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it.
No, you're not thinking about it. You're booking that ticket right now.
He's booking.
Fucking ticket. God damn it. I'm gonna have a Catan board set up, and I'm gonna have it prepared for 4 players. Actually, 5 because Allie's gonna be there, and and we're all gonna be super sad if you're not gonna be there. We're gonna take pictures of your empty seat that we reserved just for you.
Well,
yeah,
Rainey will do that, and we'll all be there staring at Rainey, being like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, yeah. Phil and Jake won't give a fuck.
Is 532 for a round trip? Is that a lot or not that much?
Cheaper than me.
That's well, yeah, you're
No, that's fine.
international. That's fine. Usually cross
Yeah.
country is like 600. Yeah. Do you never
Okay.
fly?
For round trip? Yeah. What about there's one that starts at 11:59 p.m. and arrives at 11:09 a.m. and I'm like, I don't know what day. I guess I'll click it and see.
You
It's
should
confusing me about what day.
11:50. Wait.
Yeah, just get
I
an
like it.
early
It's like
flight
all
Thursday.
night. It sounds like it's like all night kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that sounds like a 12-hour flight all
That
night.
sounds like you have a long layover because cross country is only like 5-6 hours.
Yeah, both these have an hour and a half layover, which I don't mind. Just one stop with an hour and a half layover, I don't mind. But I guess I might do I could do this one, and it would mean I get in, I guess, Thursday at 11:15. So if you guys stay up late on Thursday, I'd be hanging out. Otherwise, I'd hang out Friday.
Michael
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be
Dicha said the ticking clock is the approaching Tampa Con date. Our hero
Yes.
fucked up and is now in a race
Okay, I might. If I do that, I'm gonna at least keep clicking a little bit here. I'm gonna click the second one.
Eric Gunfull says Narwhal's mouth says yeah, but his eyes say no.
Oh, yeah.
No.
So if I buy this, it is a leap of faith that the campaign will reach high enough for me to be able to afford it.
Everybody please back Grand Prix now.
Yeah, so please back Grand Prix.
Or Narwhal, you just do more original art and like auction them off.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
That'll be fun. Narwhal, I bet if you sold some art and were like, hey, I need to afford a flight to Tampa, you would be good.
Okay. Yeah.
You should do that like real quick this weekend, and just do a couple sketches.
Yeah,
those sketches
and
are really good.
I think I have more of these shirts. I kind of want to sell some of them for like.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's
$50.
cool too.
Sweet.
Yeah, do a quick sale or something, so you can. Then you'll be.
If anyone wants to buy this right now, I'll sell it to you for $100, and I won't even wash it.
The one he's wearing.
So let me know in the chat if you want that.
Can you afford that, Rainey?
I don't know if I want the one he's been sweating in for like 3 days. I mean, I want to help Narwhal out, but not that bad.
Yeah. All right, I'm clicking the button. I'm going to see what happens now.
Buy it.
Do you not fly often? No. I guess not.
Is it telling you what day you get in?
That reminds me, I have to book my tickets for some other flights, but
Yeah, because I was thinking I could kind of do whatever, but I was thinking flying in Thursday and out Sunday. So pretty quick. I'd have 2 full days. Is that what you guys are doing? Are you doing a little different, a little more, or what?
No. So leaving, I always let myself at least like rest, because what's going to happen is after the show, everybody's going to want to. It depends, but often, like before the show, it's like ramping up, but then after the show, usually people want to get together, go out, party. So I'm fucking tired. I don't want to fly or drive right after I take down my booth, so I always stay that night. So I'm leaving Monday morning.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll make it 3 days. That's kind of crazy. I'll live on the edge.
Live on the edge, man.
I get there on the 26th, and I think I leave on the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
I'm going all this way. I don't want to just stay for the weekend. What? So,
Yeah,
give myself extra days.
That's
I'm
gonna be awesome.
driving. So I'll be driving Thursday, but I'll be getting there like really late Thursday.
Are you picking up Kelsey?
Me?
Yeah.
He's kind of out of the way. I have no idea how Kelsey's getting there.
Is
I've got a couple people that I was like, I offered to pick up. I don't know if I am. I guess they'll tell me. I don't know. I'm gonna just be picking up strays my whole way to Tampa.
Yeah, they're not on the way back.
Yeah, I'm giving Allie a ride on the way back. We were gonna road trip both ways, but she had some stuff come up, so she'll be there, and then on the way back, we'll be road tripping together.
Dang.
It'll be fun.
Road trip. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
You gonna
I
be
would
blasting
live
some
stream.
In Sync?
I will. No, that would not be my music of choice. I've been playing some Ward Runa, especially with that with Allie. We'll be playing some like Viking shit.
More of a Backstreet Boys kind of gal, huh?
No.
I want to know how crazy your driver Rini is.
Rammstein and Nightwish. I would live stream it, but my phone is shit.
How do people comment on your driving, Rini? Are they like Rini's super safe, or like Rini's an insaniac on the road?
Probably I'm a little insane.
A little erratic.
I'm gonna try. No, I'm not erratic.
Yeah,
I'm not erratic. Actually, I actually drive really paranoid because I'm very aware. I anticipate other people doing stupid shit, but I do have a lead foot, so it's just a problem I have. I need to watch my speed. But yeah, but fucking driving in Atlanta, you have to anticipate people doing stupid shit. Like today, I was on the highway and I was merging into a lane, and this car, who obviously had a view of me trying to merge first, started merging into the same lane from the other side. It's like people are.
So it's Tampa that we're going to, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Tampa. Have you guys bought or do you have like a press pass or something, Irene?
I have no idea.
I don't even know if I'm going to buy a ticket to the convention. I feel like everyone's going to go one day, and then the rest of the days everyone's.
Yeah, I haven't bought one of those yet either. Screw that stupid ass convention.
I'm tabling with Patrick, so I'm assuming he's going to give me a pass or some shit, because otherwise.
Better ask him.
We'll figure it out.
You're going to get so many. When you
I thought the only one out of all of us has actually bought passes to the convention.
Yeah.
Yes. So Narwhal and I are just gonna.
Narwhal
and I are gonna be throwing dice in front of the convention. You know,
it just wouldn't even go in.
Hanging out,
sitting outside in the Tampa sun.
Yeah, I'll bring some dominoes. Play some dominoes. Oh, we could LobbyCon. A lot of people do that. It's called LobbyConning.
That's true.
It's when they just hang out in their cosplays.
I'll go sell shit and just give you my Catan game.
Yeah, they're not letting me check an extra bag. I get only the personal item. These bastards.
What airline
are
you doing?
Spirit?
I don't. I'm on United.
Oh,
this is the cheapest one though that I found. It's pretty affordable.
I fly Southwest. You get a one free check, I think.
Yeah, and I guess what does it cost to check? Like if I really want to do that, I could. If it's like
it's different for every airline, so you have to.
What is it? Would it be like $50 or would it be like $100?
75, 100, I think.
I don't know.
It depends. Yeah. Anything between 50 to 100 is what I would say. But it feels right. Every airline's different.
Yeah,
and that would be like if I want to bring stuff to sell a little bit to people who come by.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always fly Southwest because they give you one free check. And so most of the time, I don't even check anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring one bag.
Yeah, I like Southwest or Delta or JetBlue. I hate United and everything else.
Is there one called like Chipmunk that lets you
what
flights?
What?
This is propaganda you've soaked up.
What?
No, make sure you're looking at actual legitimate websites. I don't know where you're.
Oh, I got a virus.
Chipmunk.
No, I could book. So yeah, I got to decide it. I guess I could always just.
If you really want to be cheap, you can book Amtrak tickets and leave tomorrow, and you'll be at Tampa by next Friday.
How much would that cost? How much would that be?
Probably like a couple. Yeah, probably like be a little. It would be cheaper than planes because Amtrak is like cheap but shit.
I actually really would love to go on like a long distance train journey in America where if you had like a room.
No, you don't have a room. I actually have taken Amtrak. Well, it was like across the state, and it was actually kind of nice, but except the seats were shit, and we don't have like nice, sleeper cabins and shit like that, and like they have in other countries, which I'm very annoyed by. But I mean, our nature is really nice, and it's nice to look at it.
Even Ukraine had a sleeper train.
I know. Yeah. Welcome to America.
Sleeper trains are fucking awesome. We had to go to a convention in Scotland, like, and we went. It was the cheapest way was to get the train down to London, and then get the sleeper train all the way up to Scotland, which is like going from the middle of the country to the bottom to get to the top.
Oh,
It's funny.
But
that sounds like I want to take like a sleeper train trip across Europe. When I go to Europe, I'm gonna do that. Just take trains.
yeah, like I would love it to be like, okay, here's the sleeper train. It's going all across Europe, and it's like a week. It'll take a week, but you get like your own cabin and stuff. Like that would be fucking badass.
Yeah, it'd be cool. They even had that shit in the Wild West. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. Our train system is stupid.
Bring it back, y'all.
I guess because everything here is built. Well, it is. I don't guess it's built around cars, and really, like because domestically most people own cars, so why would you? It just isn't sustainable. I guess not enough people would book a sleeper train if you can just have your own car.
Yeah,
Well, I feel like trains are.
But it is really nice. I feel like.
Trains.
Well, with the way they maintain Amtrak, more dangerous than they really need to be. You know, Amtrak has like one derailing every year. You know, on second thought, no, well, don't book Amtrak. But
I said it was $3,000.
what?
What?
Never mind. What the
Amtrak?
fuck?
Yeah.
Well, so trains have more accidents than planes, but planes tend to kill more people per incident.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, because plane air safety is like there's
You can't
so
breathe
many
up there.
layers.
Just fly off into space.
Actually, most air accidents are on takeoff or landing, mostly landing. You don't fly off into space, I'm sure.
If
Just...
there's nothing up there, there's no air.
Yeah,
up
that's
there.
exactly what happens. Yeah.
Float off if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Should I protect my trip for $35?
It's
only $35. You never know what'll happen.
I cooked for it.
I think I will do it, but I hate that they
But
get that
it's-
money out of me.
I know it's one of the, it's annoying, but it's only
one of the stupidest like price humming as an orange over was like, you know, the hotel room, or you could get a Riverview hotel room, or normal hotel room, or hotel room with a view of the river. Oh, it's only a little bit more, but
it's like, and then you actually arrive and you never look out the windows because you're partying with your friends the whole time, and you only go back to sleep.
I really wanted to get one of those rooms. You could get like a whole suite thing, and you get like chairs to hang out in and stuff. That would have been so cool.
I gave no fucks. I did book a hotel that was slightly nicer, seemingly, than the one next to it, but that's just because I like comfort and I don't want like gross sheets. But yeah, probably gonna just be outside the whole time.
Fancy pants.
Yeah, fancy pants. So pampered. It would be nice to go like swimming, but that probably won't happen either.
I have wondered if anyone was going to do that, and whether
we
I
went
need
swimming when we went to Houston for Matsuri. They have an awesome pool and lazy river on the roof of the hotel.
Oh really? Oh, that's nice.
So it's the pool, and then surrounding the pool is a lazy river that's in the shape of Texas. So cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. And the current is so strong. My brother and I were in there, and we were swimming against the current, and we weren't moving, so just like swimming in place. It was awesome. It was really fun.
That's fun.
Nice.
Oh,
All right, I booked it. So
you did it! Yay! Everybody back Grand Prix now.
Yeah.
Dude.
So help me raise money. It'll still be live while I'm in Tampa, so you guys gotta help me promote in Tampa or something.
Yeah, you gotta wear like a neck placard that's like back Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Like
Like
a
scan
QR
this, like-
code.
yeah, QR. Yeah.
Maybe we could do if we're all there that Thursday night, we could do a short live creative block from our phone or something.
Or whoever
everyone
is that
at the
managed to
same
get there.
venue. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think I'd be there. Actually, I'd probably get there right around like 10 or 11. They'll be really late.
I'm getting there like 9:30 on the 26th.
I think.
Are we all going to end
There
up
and
getting
then.
there on the same time on the same
Yeah.
day? That'd be.
Probably.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
We could do the Go Team Venture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That'll be fun. It'll just be like a 5-minute stream. I'll be okay, we're going to bed, we're tired.
Yeah. All you guys get.
Ooh.
A guy in his room says Rainy doesn't shave her pits. What the fuck are you talking about? It's the lighting. Fuck off.
One of us had to say it.
What are you talking about? My piss.
Rainey's
I'm very.
pits they're
Look
much
at this.
discussed in CG.
Look,
Yeah.
they're
Well,
very
so-
clean. That's muscle. That's shadow from muscle. Look at that.
Rainy, that was the most obvious bait ever, and still you like look at them.
Alex
I
VRB
still
says,
don't
Rainey,
believe someone actually has like armpit fetish. Okay.
he says you're getting negged, Alex VRB.
What? Ethan
Yeah,
just
Don't
went
get
over
nagged. Be
nagging?
careful about getting nagged in Tampa. Don't fall
Wait.
into the trap.
Mm?
If anyone attacks your armpit hair and you suddenly want to prove to them that your armpit is fine.
But it's
Yeah, they just want to
it's
see
just
your
an
armpit.
obvious thing. Like I don't.
It's like, I bet your feet are really dirty. Like, no, look
Oh,
how
no.
clean they are.
No, that's different. That's different. It's like there's a different level between. I get what Ethan was saying with like, well, if I insult her enough, she's gonna be like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm gonna. But that's like to the level of getting to sleep with the girl, right? That's ridiculous. I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck Phil is doing.
Yeah, imagine
Squats.
sleeping with
They're
girls.
called squats, Irene. Maybe you heard of them?
I actually do a lot of squats, but I'm not going to show you.
The
Nice try.
question is,
I'll show you.
who is he squatting over?
Who's he
My girlfriend's in
teabagging?
Yeah.
I've been doing kettlebell squats. 50 pounds.
Nice.
Punches Mike. That's great.
Shut up.
That's just really great.
Oh, you guys peer pressured me into going. It feels good. I almost wasn't. gonna
We
go.
nagged you into going.
I know, yeah.
We did it.
Yes.
awesome.
Well, you already have a hotel room, so all you have to do is put up with
Yeah,
my
thanks,
snort
Jake.
really
Jake did
fast.
his part. He made it a lot. He greased the wheels.
Yeah. Now you might have to get a pass to the show, or we could do the old school. We get Irene's pass and we hand it off to Narwhal to sneak him in, and then give Irene her pass back.
I have a table. I'm going to be in there the whole time. Oh, well, yeah, I guess then I'll get in and then just give it to one of you
Yeah.
guys.
Some past smuggling.
I like
I do
how
that all the time in
Narwhal just,
Chicago.
I like how Narwhal just let me bum off everyone. Maybe I'll book a flight.
That's what you got to do to get your buddies in.
This is
Yeah.
fun though. This reminds me of going to convention in my college days where we're like, who's going? Okay, let's get 6 people to one hotel room.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
anybody have a pass? No, we'll just pass one pass around the whole room.
I'm
We
still living
literally-
that life. What can I say?
Yeah. If anyone wants
We
to
did-
share Narwhal's bed with him, I give you permission.
Have fun, Jake.
We did Chicago Fan Expo last year, and Phoenix Animation came and he does all these like conventions. He was just at like, I think the month before he was at a different Fan Expo in a different city, so he still had his pass. So we were like passing it around and just sneaking people in the whole time. It was awesome.
That's funny.
We did that when we had like special passes at PAX with a booth. Just switch people out.
Yeah.
With Tampa, Matt sees one of my buddies that isn't directly in this clique, kind of.
Uh-huh.
But he's cool, and he's going to be around. And he booked a night of cigar smoking, I think, or a cigar lounge.
Oh yeah.
That he wanted me to let everyone know, and it does sound fun.
What's that?
Cool.
What is booking a night of cigar lounge?
It's like
Let
a
me see if I
lounge you go
can
to smoke.
see a little bit more what he said.
Is it like karaoke but for cigars?
I'm not
Yeah,
too sure.
You
He gave me a link.
and smoke.
Yeah.
No,
I
it's
think
just
he
like
gave me
a fancy lounge where you get to pick all different kinds of cigars and probably sip whiskey and.
It's like a
alcohol.
hookah lounge. You know those?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a hookah lounge with cigars. I went to one in Colombia. It was cool.
Nice.
Very
Colombia. You've been to
classic.
Colombia?
Yeah. I'm going again.
What?
Later this year.
That's crazy.
I've only done.
Oh yeah, I
Hokuto
forgot about
once.
that.
It was in Italy with some like traveling German students in like a family holiday park.
Nice.
They kept on calling each other Mushi Man, which meant it's like German for calling someone a pussy. Mushi Man.
It sounds endearing though, yeah.
Say Mushi Man. And it's like, this doesn't really sound like I'm calling him a pussy. You call him like a happy, friendly mascot character.
You sound like Mushi Man.
Mushi Man. Oh.
What the fuck?
Bancroft
Michael.
says no one is staying in my room. It's because Michael, you're staying in Camel's room.
No, he
He
said he
got
got a 2-bedroom suite and nobody's staying there.
You got a why did you get a 2-bedroom suite on your own? What?
No.
He
staying
says
with-
nobody's staying there because he's coming and staying with us.
Oh.
So his-
Michael's
his-
going to be sharing the bed with Narwhal.
We're going to be playing Catan with a light under the covers.
I can't wait to
For no reason.
curse someone with a 7 and then they roll a 7. What other board games are you thinking of taking?
I forgot what I have because I play online so much. I think in real life I have Catan, Cards Against Humanity. I have some like
Play Monopoly. Let's play fucking Monopoly.
no, we're not playing Monopoly.
I want to play
Do you hate
Symbols of the
Monopoly?
Multiverse.
I do hate Monopoly.
Oh. Honestly, I could play Monopoly all day on like on the computer as a video game version. It's
horrible.
awesome. It is
Terrible.
horrible.
How dare you?
I think I'm going to bed, guys.
All right.
I'm going to
Cool.
tap.
Thanks
Oh.
for
Good show
good
tonight.
show. Yeah, good,
Yeah.
good talking.
We had a great chat. Thank you to the chat, everybody. We'll watch the Diaz Brothers show tomorrow. We'll be on at 7:30 Eastern time, and go back to Lost Pages, guys. Catch you on the flip flop.
Peace.
Bye,
Good
Phil.
night. And he's out. There's this card game I just got. I have no idea how to play it, but the name was funny, and there was a sale on Amazon. It's called Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza.
I think I might know about that.
I'll bring it. We'll explore what the fuck this is about because the reviews are really good.
Cool. Yeah, playing
This'll be
Catan will be fun.
Yeah.
I have this card game called Keyforge, but to be honest, it might be a bit like you only buy decks, you never buy packs, and each deck is like randomly generated and unique.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fun card game, but maybe it would take too long to explain how to play it. But you can get some crazy strategies going with it.
Yeah, you were gonna want games that people can play slightly drunk because that's probably what's gonna happen.
Play that 1-syllable caveman game.
What?
You gotta there's like a word on a card, and you have to like get people to guess the word, but you can only use single-syllable words. So like no borrow. It's like cold hat in tree, and like if they say a word with more than 1 syllable, they get whacked on the head with the inflatable.
I have never played that. That's hilarious.
I think it'd be really fun. There's another one called Snake Oil as well, which
You
is
guys
like,
look.
yay!
Look at Rini, you got inserted from behind. It's just the side of your head.
What the fuck? Oh, that's my headphones. I was like, where the fuck am I?
Why do I have a giant tumor on the side of my head?
Don't know. That's
Nice. Thanks, Alex VRB. The classic memes continue.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Oh, Bancroft said that's a fun game. Taco Cat Go Cheese Pizza. Oh, Michael said he'll bring code names. All right, I don't know that one, but
Yeah, Bancroft's family is a board game family too. So if
yes,
we can play Catan with fucking Bancroft.
Okay, well, all those degenerates are out clubbing and shit, which I don't want to do. We'll be playing board games It'll be way more fun.
With still plenty of alcohol and snacks, hopefully.
Of course.
We'll still be drinking shitloads.
We'll be drinking, but we'll be like playing board games and bonding with friends instead of grinding up against strangers. I hate clubbing.
Clubbing's only is good when you have the right drugs, I guess. But
I guess I've gone clubbing a grand total of once in my life. Actually, it was fun, but I'm like, I can't do this. I can do this about once a year. It was a lot.
I used to enjoy it. There was like a girl who I was like seeing once, and we went out clubbing, and she was dancing so overly enthusiastically. But we were just in like a local pub that just had like a small corner that was for dancing, and like people were there dancing, but like she was going crazy. She was going down low, twerking. I was like, what the fuck? Just stop doing this in public. People can see you, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like it's fun probably once every 1 or 2 years to just have a night of complete brainlessness is the way I view it. But otherwise, I just don't really understand the point of it. But maybe some of my friends, they like dancing. They just like to get out and dance. I guess if you like dancing.
I love dancing.
Yeah. I don't. I hate dancing.
Oh, what? It's so fun.
Dance.
It's not about if you can dance or not. It's about having fun moving around.
It's not fun to move around. I don't like moving around.
It's not fun to move around. Read 2080 or something, like big fat Bart Simpson on the washing himself with a rag on a stick. He's like, it's not fun to move around.
Flash forward 10 years, I'm gonna be like 400 pounds. I don't want to move around. It's hard.
Banco says, who's going clubbing? I don't know.
I had people say they wanted to go clubbing. By people, I mean Patrick and some others. I'm sure some people will. Yeah, I like bars, but not clubbing. Bars are nice because I want to talk to people. I don't understand. Grinding up against strangers is not socializing.
Yeah,
going to a bar and talking is socializing.
Whenever we'll go out here, you'll go out to a place and you'll be like having a conversation in a pub, and it's like, great, this works. But then they put like really loud music on for some reason, as if like normal time is finished. Now it's clubbing hours, right. And it's just you were exactly where you were, and like what? Now you just have to go outside or find somewhere else. Maybe some people don't want to talk as much as we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I feel like
I love playing pool. I want to go to a pub and play pool. That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. There's, I don't know if they still do that anymore. There's a pub in Atlanta that they have like multiple pool tables, and they used to have unlimited white snow crab with butter on Saturdays or something, or Thursdays, and all the artists would go and play pool and eat a bunch of crab and draw. That was fun. I don't think they do it anymore though. Michael Rushbrook asked, Jake, how many pins will you have on you?
I've only got one. I've got this one design obviously, but I got 100 of them.
Oh, okay. I think he meant like how many will you have available?
Yeah, there's only 100 of these in existence, and they're not currently for sale. So who knows if you're willing to give up sexual favors for a small piece of metal.
Whoa, that escalated quickly.
No, I'm only kidding. Some people, some lucky people could get their hands on it. But yeah, there's 100 of them.
Cool. I do have like dinner with some people planned for one day, but otherwise I have no plans. So the board games will definitely have to be in the works. Probably like Friday night. I think board games would be like a good first day after the show, kind of like chill thing, like after dinner.
Yeah.
Then board games.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yay!
I'm trying to find the receipt so I can deduct it from my taxes.
That's a good idea.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. That's smart. You should do that. I keep like fucking meticulous business expense sheets now because I'm like, give me my money back.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. You know.
I'm so fucking organized now. I fucking hate paying taxes. But I do. I pay my fucking taxes. Lord knows I do. But I'm going to deduct every single thing I can. God.
Oh, Bancroft says we need to play poker. Yes.
Fuck,
Bancroft will
I don't know how to
take
play
all your
poker.
money. Do you guys know?
I
he's
know.
a
Yeah,
pro
we're not
poker
gonna
player?
bet real money. You're a professional poker player, Bancroft. We're not betting real money.
No, he would say if you're not betting anything, you're not really playing. And betting
No, I don't
something
know
can be literally $5 on the game.
No, that's how they get you in there. They're like, oh, just $5, oh, just $10. It just keeps it going on. No, we're not.
Yeah, because
we're
you
not
said
betting
if you don't put anything on it, it's not real poker because you're not risking anything.
I don't care. Then it's not play poker.
Banker says, I need to win back some of these costs. Yeah, man. Everyone's spending many thousands of dollars on traveling and accommodation to Tampa. I don't know if I could do this once a year, but
No.
I think it would be cool if I could afford it.
How much is it from the UK to the US? It's like 600, 700.
Double that.
Really? Is that much?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's not much when I flew to Iceland.
It's merry old England. Everything's expensive over here.
Merry old England.
Right,
Holy shit! Wanted to. Which no one wants to go to Iceland? No. Are you kidding me? Everybody wants to go to Iceland. Iceland's awesome.
I want to go somewhere where I can do ayahuasca.
Yeah, go to South America. Want to come along to Colombia?
I'd go anywhere, man. I want to get a bunch of traveling in before they close the world down again.
Oh yeah. When do you think that'll be? I'm wondering, like, are they going to use winter as an excuse again? Like, winter because it's sickness season, something?
Well, the next election is, like, the next huge crunch point, right? Like...
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. You know what would suck? Because last time I went to America, I came to America, and I was planning on, I was going to rent here for a bit and go back to Taiwan and like fly back and forth, and then COVID happened and I got trapped here. So if I fly back to Taiwan to visit family this year, then I get trapped there because they shut the whole world down, and then World War III happens, and then I'm like, shit.
Yeah,
what do I do with all my assets in America?
You'd be able to get back to America.
Not gonna jinx it.
You'd be able to get back to America somehow, though.
Oh well. No, it's not that I literally couldn't travel. It's more so with Taiwan, it was this really stupid thing where even for citizens, which I am a Taiwanese citizen, they quarantine you for 2 weeks or more. At one point, it was more than 2 weeks. No, but now it's like recommended. They're still paranoid about COVID. They're still wearing masks. They're still like, stay at home. You get tested and you stay at home for a week. And I'm like, I mean,
it's insane. I don't know how.
It's insane. I've had COVID like 3 times, guys. I think I'm good.
I don't think I'm not sure if I had it or not. I thought I had it once, and when the test came back negative, like a proper test.
I did. I tested it. Well, I tested positive twice, and the third time it was like, so it doesn't feel. There's a certain. Everybody's different, but I know that there's like a certain certain aches I don't get with anything else, and like this weird headache I always get, and I've heard other people get it with COVID as well. So the third time I just felt like I was getting cold, but then I got the headache, and I'm like, oh, it's COVID again. But I've had it. I don't know. It'll be all right. Yeah, they're still like paranoid about it. It's hard because with older family members, I can't just. I don't want to make them anxious, but at the same time, I just think it's unhealthy. It's not really. They don't need to be all terrified and locked down at this point. But but like they're older people and they're really anxious types, and they're like, we have to be careful and follow the rules.
What China is, or
we made it 3 hours.
We did. Taiwan. China still has a bunch of restrictions, of course. But Taiwan does as well. With Taiwan, it's not lockdowns on the level of China. It's just people are very like law abiding, and I think there weren't really any protests. People were just like, we are all just very, safe. It's a very let's be safe kind of society. It's very similar to Japan. Think of it that way. So, and Japan has been paranoid on lockdown this whole time, and Taiwan is very similar.
England's kind of slightly Japan-ish. Like, I think there's like a shared thing that happens in like Ireland.
Yeah, very trusting of each other, but also of the government, and very let's play it safe, right?
Respecting authority. Like, there's there's so many procedural crime dramas on in the UK that it's basically the ethos of all of them is like the authorities are these supreme beings that are sent out into the world to figure out all these mysteries and figure out what all the people were doing. And there's so much of that over here in the UK.
Oh man.
And
that's weird.
it's that culture of like appealing to authority.
Yeah, I understand on some level, and but I don't know. I think there's also like the UK is different, but with Taiwan, it's like our government is probably not involved in world-changing international cabals and shit, but the American government definitely is. So I'm less trusting of the American government. Not that I trust the Taiwanese government, but I'm a little less terrified of you guys. But still, I don't know. I just think it's sad on like an interpersonal level that people have to live in fear for so long.
I think I might end the stream proper, but keep hanging out a little bit behind the scenes if you guys are down.
Sure, yeah, probably not for long, but let's hang out for a bit.
Yeah, Bancroft, you have the link if you want to hop in, even post live stream if you wanted to say hi or whatever. But no worries,
hang out, of course. Yeah,
bitch
about our house problems.
And I do have the outro music. Yeah. So everyone, there's 34 people watching. Alex BRB, others, thanks for being here. I have a different window open, so I can't see who's here now anymore.
They're the real G's, the 33 G's.
There's Mortal B, there's Maromi, there's Alex BRB, there's Iron Line, Michael Bancroft.
Nice.
Thanks for being here. You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
And remember, back Grand Prix right now. Go sign up for Carnal the Barbarian. And I mean, I'm sure everybody who's watching has signed up for Fiendish on the website. But go do that. Go to fiendishcomment.com and sign up. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. And now I clicked a button. Check this out. Look at her dance.